I feel like a
I
lot
think
of
they could hear you on Twitch, Fletch. I'm pretty sure they could hear you.
Yeah, we could hear you on Twitch.
Oh, okay. All right.
Um,
You know what? You know what, Andrew? I think I'll just get you to dump the audio source out for me, and I'll just re-upload it
Yeah,
over the
it's
top.
for that extra
Well-
delay. Because I can see that there's like a bit of. I've got to next time fine tune the like audio delay because
Yeah.
We need to do
everyone's
some-
video to audio is a bit.
It's all right. It's a
Like-
learning
some
curve.
claps so you can sync it.
It's
Well,
more
can
to
I
do
just
with.
to finish up the set factor and to rub it in Fletcher's face a little bit. I am Herbert Peppard. I am Cephalopede Toys. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. I even have a Twitter I set up just the other day. That's about fucking proactivity. Fuck you, YouTube. I am here because I met these guys a while ago because our good friend GG&W Toys was pushing the dream and trying to get all of us crazy Australians together to make toys in one community. And I've been working with them for some years, and now I'm here making toys with y'all. I'm primarily a physical sculptor of toys. And I was supposed to be working on dice charms today, like these guys. These are some of the older ones. Sorry, I experimented earlier. So that's one of the little Cthulhu dice charms from last year's, or the year before, GG&W, and then...
I have some of those, but they're in packets, and I'm not opening them.
Yeah, fair enough.
I have one that I open and one that I haven't opened.
But today, I'm just making a monster girl because I was not sure what I wanted to work on or what I wanted to work with, and I settled on. So I have model sculpting wax, typically used for like jewelry sculpting. I have traditional plasticine. It's like a medium hard variety of plasticine, and I have Sculpey, which is old and crumbly, but I've been resoftening it. And I think I settled on Sculpey. Normally, I'll use the jewelry wax for doing the dice charms. But because I'm working in Sculpey, and as I was saying to these guys before, without an armature, I'm making this monster girl. And I don't know what she's going to be yet. I'm just getting the rough form, getting out there. So if anyone is interested in contributing to what type of monster girl she's going to be, drop it in chat, and I may, in fact, turn into that direction. Right now, she's just a kneeling female figure, not much head description, focusing mostly on breasts and legs at the moment. Don't judge me. I have decided to put a little skull right here that she's resting her hand on. So hit me up. Send suggestions. I'm like totally across tentacles, robots.
Pop them in chat.
Not harpies. Preferably no winged creatures, just because.
Succubi.
Yeah, I could do succubi, but that's less
Dryads?
monster girl and more sort of obvious figures. What did you say, dryads?
What about dryads? Yeah, man.
Dryads?
Dryads
wood,
are cool.
Wood
Tree
action?
spirits.
Tree spirits, good, yeah.
They can have roots and stuff.
Yeah, okay,
If
roots.
she was sitting on a die, would that make her a die char? What's it called? What do you call them?
Dice charm. Yeah, because I have I have two sizes. This is if we're using the 20-sided dice. I have like the mini ones, which is what I've been using for the little dice charms. As you can see the sort of size difference between like the traditional dice charms and this. Then I have the larger ones as well. I could definitely build that in, but the thing is that with something this size is that it's not going to fit easily into a dice bag, whereas something like this is going to fit easily into a dice bag, which is the point, so you can have them sort of next to them. I have been thinking about making a range of slightly larger ones, absolutely, but I think my monster girl today is a little bit too big. Just a little bit too big.
So, explain exactly, like, I guess the dice charm is just like a little figure you keep with your dice. Is that right?
Yeah, to bless them.
Oh, okay.
Because
obviously
people are superstitious. I mean, not me. I'm not that superstitious, but I am superstitious enough to take advantage of gullible gamers and sell them the dice charms. That's
right. Okay.
And I will say, but it says on the back of the packages, like, not guaranteed to charm dice. But
Right.
try telling that to them. I actually have live video evidence of them working. If you want to like check out the Tabletop Dynasties YouTube channel, there are some episodes where you can see how amazing those dice charms actually work.
Right.
I'll try and link in chat at some point tonight. That
I want to play Cthulhu with you, Herbie.
Yeah, man.
I
Play
played Cthulhu
with
once.
me.
They just steal the eyes off Crab Rat. Sorry, Crab
I
Rat.
am totally down for running games. Normally, so the game that I've been running more recently is the Cthulhu game that I'm running consistently. Is called Otherworld Agents, where it's kind of like, you know, your Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense premise, where essentially you've got, speaking of Monster Girls, you know, one paranormal or two paranormals in a party of like 3 to 6 people, and then the rest are kind of agents, as it were. And they're still remarkable agents, but, you know, a paranormal, they got paranormal powers? Not normal powers. Paranormal powers.
What's this game called, sorry?
Otherworld Agents.
Otherworld Agents.
It's just Call of Cthulhu. I've been using the Call of Cthulhu system. I have been thinking about making like a horror role-playing abridged system, like I have been working on a fantasy role-playing abridged system, because like I like playing more parlor style beer and pretzels kind of role-playing games without the pressure of like heaps of rules.
Yeah, same.
Kenny, if you're still watching and you want a Cthulhu dice charm, just DM me through Facebook, through the Cephalopede page, or through the Cephalopede Instagram. I will totally sort you out. That's the same for anyone else. I have a lot of dice charms at the moment. Happy to send them off.
I've got a few of yours. I've got a Cthulhu and an owlbear.
It's very cool. You also have another very special model of mine. I believe
I do.
One of 3 casts that I ever did of it.
I negotiated my way into the Lord of Barkness. I think is what you called him.
Barkness. Yeah, that's what we call him, the Lord of Barkness.
I never got
Affectionately
a
dubbed
proper
that
name.
by my players.
I'll grab it and I'll show it on stream. 1 sec.
Our first story arc in Tabletop Dynasties featured a giant ghost dog with a strange kind of human face, and I made a model of it. And if we're lucky, then
Right, hang on.
Andrew will show it to yes, no, maybe he'll show it to us.
All right, this is the Lord of Barkness I've got on camera now. Let's try and get this lighting.
Don't make me go to Twitch to have a look at it.
Well, I haven't set up my hotkeys yet to swap. Come on, focus.
Rubbish.
One thing at a time.
Focus, buddy.
Oh,
The
look,
production
that's cool.
quality on this episode is
Look, it's our first
God.
proper time.
Look, it's
No-
It's stumbling. Look at that, and it's slightly translucent at
yeah.
the top as well. You can see the light. Yeah.
I prefer perfection or nothing, which is why I get very
Nice.
little done.
Aw, I'm so glad you
We'll
own
get
it.
there.
It makes me very happy.
Oh, okay, I see.
Me too. I'm very happy I own it. It's fucking cool.
Well, I think it was. I gave you that and one of the Rascal Heroes in exchange
yes,
for
the Dragon
Leech-
Man.
for the Leech Ant,
Yes.
which I can show you guys now if you haven't seen it before.
Let's move this to here. Oh, is this going to work? Might just.
So, AJ, what are you up to? Well, Herbert's getting that.
I am mixing and pouring resin.
This is our friend. I'll have him in the background, but this is the Leech Ant.
There we go.
Yes, no, maybe toys.
Oh, that
I
big
got
bad boy.
the limited edition purple one, which I was super impressed by. I really like visceral things, so just having all the writhing leeches with that really sort of purplish and the red gaping hole. Ah, it's coming for me! Ah!
So slimy looking as well. And that's what I like about it. Most. It's just how,
Anyway, whatever.
how slimy it ended up.
So, how would you feel if you had a toy that you made, and then, say, like a serial killer put his soul in that toy, and then that toy told its secret to a child, then tried to kill that child and his family?
Did you just watch Child's Play?
No, that's forever ingrained in my brain. I don't think I ever need to watch any of the first 3 ever again. Like, it's just there. I'm just saying, like...
I think as a toy maker, and Chipta will probably agree with me on this one, you need to be conscientious and imbue the toys with benevolent spirits and or empowering spirits that stop those things from happening.
Right.
So I would get with the program if I were you, and preemptively charge your toys with that kind of positive energy. They go out to the world, inspire, and battle for children's souls and consciousnesses.
I remember my grave diggers. Positive energy activates constant elevation.
Speaking of child's play, my wife and I have never really ever figured out where directly our kids' red hair comes from. But I just realized last night that the night that we revealed to the world that my wife was pregnant, it was Halloween night. That's 7.
Were y'all eating too much pumpkin?
And no, I was dressed as Chucky and she was dressed as Annabelle. It's like Annabelle with Chucky hair. Like, yeah, that's kind of, I think that's where it came from.
Everything makes sense now.
And
We're giving birth to number 2.
Wait, is it gonna make a pop?
To a number 2 or number 2?
Take a pick.
Well, you tell me.
know where this is going.
Alright, I'll try not to degrade the stream.
Spicy.
So
You can. Oh, let's see what Liam's got here. Oh, look at that.
Ooh, did you just pull that? Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
fresh, nice and hot.
Wow.
You got resin on your fingers.
No, that's pigment.
Okay.
I thought it was blood.
It is
See, casting's fun, but I'm
green,
not set up. for
green
casting.
opaque pigment.
Ah.
I should be wearing gloves.
It's
Don't
funny at the
do
moment.
what
See,
I do,
the way that the
children.
screen is split for me, I've got AJ Dinsdale from like the shoulders down, and I've got Liam from the shoulders up. So it's like,
Oh,
yeah, I
nice.
You
can't.
do that whole gag.
yeah, it absolutely is that. Like when you line it up. Oh my
AJ,
god.
grab-
it's crazy.
grab your
Oh,
leg king.
Liam,
Let's see-
why are you masturbating on camera? Put that thing away.
Not masturbation when it's art. Yeah.
Okay, so I was looking at in desktop injection molding machines online last night, and I know that's like
Yes,
far
Kenny. Yes, Kenny.
milk.
Yes.
It's a far sight from the sort of giant machine that sort of you guys might have in the works. I don't know if that's a project you want to talk about or not, but
The one we're
it
getting
has-
came out to desktop as well.
sorry.
The
Yeah.
one we're getting is desktop as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah, cool.
we actually got some news. I was gonna say earlier in the week, but it's Monday, and we're in lockdown, so I don't know what.
Yeah, I know. I can't
it's
keep
in-
track of the days either. It's ridiculous.
So it must have been. It was last week sometime. Our machine, I believe, is finally on its way from the States. The people we bought it from, we were just having like trouble figuring out how they wanted to do it, and
were not-
it wasn't easy for us to work out, and they weren't super helpful to a point. Like they've lost their temper at me, not temper, but they've lost their chill, I guess, with me once or twice with asking them things. But I got a relative to buy it, and then they sent it to someone who was
Forwarder.
recommended to us as a international shipper.
Yeah.
And it's just that like the international shipper is used to working in certain things, and this thing's technically classed as a machine.
Yeah. Right.
So they wanted all this like information, but like because us who were the people getting it sent weren't the people who purchased it, were the people who sold it.
Yeah.
We didn't have all this information, so I'd have to do this whole like they'd be like, oh, we need to know whether this thing is like nuclear, like where does it sit on this chart, and I'd be like,
Wow.
oh, okay, well I'll go ask them,
They
and
got-
they'd answer
too.
some things, but then other things they'd be like, you have to understand this isn't what we do. I'm like, I know, and I'm sorry, like do that thing where you like make it sound like that you're the cool guy and the people making you ask these things are the bad guy. I'm like, look, we're cool, but they don't know this stuff, so I just need you to like tell me whether this thing is going to explode or not. And they're like, blah blah blah. So we've had to like just wait.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so it's just been like email back and forth between like 3 different people, sort of thing, But apparently it's on the water now.
Yes, Lay's World. Andrew is so pro.
Did they give us any kind of ETA on how long it's going to take?
No, I was like so last night I was up until 1 because I was waiting for a Sofubi drop to go, and I was like super tired. And I was like, oh, did they send us a tracking number? And I meant to check it, but I haven't. I don't think so. I don't think we've got a tracking.
I need to check. I've been meaning. So I pre-bought some Sofubi not a while ago, but I did a pre-order, and I've just completely lost track as to whether it's been shipped or not. And I think it has. And if it has shipped, it may be lost in transit.
Yeah, I got the shipping like 5 minutes ago.
Where'd you buy it from, Andrew?
It was that Skull Dangler one when we weren't in lockdown that I showed you guys at the studio.
Oh, right.
And I had pre-ordered it a long time before that as well, which is fine. I'm fine waiting. I'm just like, oh,
yeah. Where's
I
it?
haven't actually
What country is it coming from?
I think the US.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it should be. There's nothing
Shipping
wrong with
from the
US
US is absolutely shit. I ordered something from the US like, I don't know, 3.5, 4 weeks ago, and it still hasn't arrived. And apparently it was stuck in the US, didn't get out of the US for ages, and now apparently it's stuck in Sydney. So
I a few weeks ago, on more shipping woes, not woes. No, it was like, okay, so I bought 2 shoes on the same day. I bought one on eBay and one online. The one online was coming from Sydney. The one on eBay was coming from Germany. And this was when Germany was flooding. And the ones from Germany rocked up. They arrived the same day, but the ones from Germany arrived in the morning, and then the ones from Sydney arrived in the afternoon.
These are shoes.
These are some shoes. So like a shipment from flooding Germany got to me quicker than something from Sydney to Melbourne.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, man, it's ridiculous.
Sydney.
It is what it is. Like, I understand. I'm not going to complain, but I was very surprised at how it was more of a testament to the Germany side of that story than the Sydney one.
I've definitely ordered things from Japan that have arrived quicker than things that I've ordered from Australia.
Yeah.
Which is really, really painful. And like cheaper too, which is like the worst. Like.
Yeah, so the ones that I was looking at online, I watched a couple of YouTube videos on how they were working them. I found one that was started just using like recycled plastic. So he had like little mincing machine. He was mincing stuff up and like.
Oh, like precious plastics.
And putting it. No, they were like he was using pre-processed. He was like doing his own recycling. He was like chopping up. He had like little mincing machine and he was chopping up just like medical pill jars. You know, in the US they have pill jars. They don't have them here, but in the US they got those like clear orange pill jars.
Oh, that's like the new
things.
Was that the new Craftman video?
That is the new Craftman video. That's the one.
Right now.
Yeah. So we're getting the same machine that he got, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, for LNS.
Yep, LNS. That's right. Is that their main line? Because they had 2 machines. They're on their website at the moment. They've got like one smaller machine and one larger machine. But the smaller machine they listed as discontinued.
Yeah, I think because I think the story is they did a Kickstarter, and that's the Kickstarter one at a Kickstarter price sort of thing.
Yeah,
right.
And now this is the pro
end one.
Yeah. I think so.
So what cost you the most? Was it the shipping that cost the most on that machine?
Fun story. We don't really super. We've got an estimate of the shipping, but we won't know until it arrives. Apparently.
Really?
How much was the machine?
Oh man, don't make me bring up the spreadsheets.
No, let's not talk about it.
In a rough ballpark, like kind of way.
Chip, do you remember?
Wacky fox creature thing.
More than 5, less than 10, maybe something like that.
Got you.
Including the shipping, I think.
Yeah. Because we also like bundled in like a couple extra things. Like there's a better a larger hopper, like a thing for holding the plastic pellets. We got a different brace for it for like hooking the molds in, so that that one's like not only is it faster, but there's got more restraints on it, so that you can clip the molds in a lot faster. And then we've got a couple of their blank molds, which are like you kind of like think of them like mold casings that have hollows in them for you to be able to like stick your own 3D printed molds or just make your own silicon or resin molds inside.
So in one of the other Craftman videos, if you guys want to check it out, it's called the Craftman. He's like he's a puppet host, which is pretty cool in and of itself.
I wish I could do a Craftman, but I can't.
He's very
Hey,
cool.
hey,
He's a stoner, obviously. If he's not a stoner, he's at least pretending to be a stoner.
I think no, I think
This
he's
is
just,
total ASMR, man.
I think he's just totally pretending to be like an American. That's like
a southern
He's not
yeah.
even American, right? He's the casting out of Vladivostok.
What?
Apparently, he has had some trouble with people trying to find him. So
Yeah.
who knows?
That
I
kind
mean, it's a pretty big channel, man.
Yeah.
of it's huge.
So
Big,
the
huge
weird thing with
Okay.
Craftman is that like
It's
I don't hear people. I never heard people talking about him. Like I watched him, but I was like, oh yeah, no, it's just a thing. And then like like Toy Galaxy was where like a lot of people talk about that sort of stuff, and you'll just like talk to anyone with toys like yeah. But like Craftman's that thing where you're just like, oh yeah, a Craftman thing, and then people are like, oh yeah. Like it's kind of
Have you seen the Craftsman Facebook group?
No, man,
Dude,
I don't mess with
It's
that.
crazy.
What we got
It's
here,
crazy.
Liam? Liam is just smashing productivity.
AJ is
I meant sorry, AJ. That's what I meant to say. Sorry, Liam.
Look,
Triplets, you
Andrew, I
guys.
smash two things. I smash Tim Tams and Puss.
You mean Trump?
Damn, brother.
I don't know.
I don't know what to say to that.
No one
I'm
does.
glad-
It's the best thing.
No, I don't think any of
Thank
us
you very
do.
much.
No, it's the best. Like,
That's very
I
funny.
generally
Liam.
keep things at like a certain level, and then I can break out one of those
Also,
every now and then.
Love
I
it.
would like to call attention to everybody in the stream that we are totally all about being kind to cats. We love cats. If you are into cats and you have your cat, we are not going to smash your cat. We do not encourage or condone people smashing cats. They're
No, I meant
beautiful
Pussy
yeah.
cats.
and lovely. I don't.
I
How
think
did this monster get on
Herbie.
our stream?
Sorry, Herbie. I think he meant vagina.
Oh, I mean, why would you smash vagina? It's a precious resource.
I mean,
It's a term. It's a term that people use. They say the word puss for vagina. I've heard.
Okay. And why do they say smash when they're talking about like vaginas? I mean, that sounds a bit rough.
It does.
So
It
okay,
does.
so a segue off that into
Smashing
other
noise.
Have you...
Some of us have
No.
been in lockdown too long.
Okay, I'm stopping.
I'm going
Toys,
So-
toys.
That is.
Want to talk about some other
I'll
toys
tell
coming
you. I'll
out?
tell you a funny story. I told somebody before lockdown. I'm like, oh yeah, I make toys and blah blah blah. And a couple of weeks later, she came back to me and she goes, I saw your Instagram. You make toys, and I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I thought you made like toys.
Oh
yeah,
wow!
yeah.
Oh.
You
I
get
thought
that
And I'm like-
saying you made toys was a pickup line. Is that what she was saying? Who knows?
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird how often that kind of comes up when you're like, oh yeah, I make toys. People think sex.
Is that because you also try and say it like in an offhanded manner to make yourself seem more cool, and then
No, it's because
without any other support, their brain goes.
It's usually right after I've explained how much puss I smash. That's when I tend to say. I walk into a room. Into a room and it's just
Smash puss.
smash.
Make toys.
That's usually what I
Smash
say
it.
when I walk into chat rooms. I reserve it particularly for chat rooms. I like to announce myself.
I once
actually-
watched.
Is that on IRC?
I once watched like a doco thing about a guy in Japan who made erotic statues. And if you've been to like one of those sorts of shop, like a shop or like in Japan or something, or flicking through like a Hobby Japan, you'd be like, Gumpler, soft vinyl, straight, like explicit statuettes, And they were interviewing this guy about it. Like they're like, are you, do you get aroused when making these things? And he's just like, no. Like, do you like doing these things? He's like, no. And they're like showing around his apartment. He's just got boxes of like half sculpted breasts and like factory shots of like underwear and crotches. And he's just like demoralized. Like he's just like, fuck. Like, because he can't do it getting out. Like, he wants to sculpt or something, but he can't like get any more. Like, that's it. He's like pigeonholed into doing that, and like he lives like hand to mouth. of like,
Poor dude.
yeah, like, and that's
Also, it could be that in the interview on television, like, because it's so conservative society, he wouldn't actually be allowed to admit that he's into it, or maybe he feels he wouldn't be allowed to admit that he's into it because it would make him put him down.
Good point.
But maybe,
I mean,
like, amongst his friends, he's like,
up and everything.
this is my life. I love it. I get to look at male and female body parts up close all the time. And
That's not as fun. I mean, it's not as fun story to say that he was into
I mean, it's a good point, but you just totally ruined that story.
sorry, I'm a ruiner from way back.
It's alright. So yeah, who else wants to talk about some toys that are coming out that we're working on?
Well,
Something more along the
Let's
lines
just
of
stop
what
talking
this is
about.
No. So she's turned into a dryad, as foretold by prophecy. But I'm sort of doing some Green Man stuff. So I've decided, in order to not have to put a support in her neck, that I would give her like a jawbone, one of those sort of classic sort of 2000s like orc jawbone necklaces that they wear around. So I'm going to do that so she can have some extra support structure. And I'm just going to do her hair all as leaves. And I've just started to put some detail in some hands.
Nice.
Just coming together. Hopefully by the end of the stream, I'll have something serviceable that I can wipe down with some, with a layer of lighter fluid, if you like it, or acetone. Get some acetone on her to smooth her all down.
Sculpey, right?
Yeah, Sculpey.
Yeah.
So you can clean it up with that.
Acetone's good.
But I'm trying to figure out right now what to do with her. So I've got her left hand resting on what will be a human skull. And if I'm very excited, then I'll have like the flesh peeling away from it. But I'm still trying to decide what to do with her right hand, which is currently kind of seen there. As you can see, there's no hand there. It's just kind of riding into the thigh at the moment. So I'm not sure if she should be holding something or just resting some delicate fingers upon the thigh. Again, I'm open to suggestions.
No, that's too many, Mama. Maybe so many.
That was some opportune cackling. It's Chipta cackling.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm making. I guess this like
I'm just feeling shit.
stupid little this poo thing. Also, my camera just doesn't want to focus.
Anyone?
If you hold, I found that it focuses better if I hold something behind it, so the whole plane of focus.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Here we go. You guys can't see. There we go. This is my little.
Oh my god, it looks like a cheeb. It's a cheeb poo.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Done.
That works.
I mean, you could kind of
I'll
make
give
it
him
into like
tiny
a
little legs as
slug
well.
thing if you wanted to like avoid that whole
little
poo
doggy.
angle.
Let's do a little doggy with tiny little legs like this.
Yeah.
Adorbs.
That's what I'm talking about.
Chipta brought to you
That
by Jackie D.
Doggy legs. You can drink on.
Oh yeah, thank
Wait,
you for
can
reminding
Can
me.
you
You
only
can drink on stream, you
camera?
just can't be drunk on stream.
Don't you need to be in a pool?
It's Coca-Cola.
Or is that bikinis?
Well, I got this, so I'm good.
Is he about to pop another one?
Oh,
Yay.
it's number 4 coming out.
Oh wait, number 4. I missed number 3.
Oh. Yeah, he was showing off the triplets before.
Oh,
Triplets of
Here we go, you guys.
Belleville. Come on, baby. Watch this, baby.
So
Alright,
hot.
so if I
Yeah.
make a
Come
statuette
back.
with boobs and I put nipples on it, does that mean that if I have pictures on it, I have to censor them on social media?
I don't know. I don't know.
Probably not
Is
on-
it art? Is there like a difference
It's art.
between art and then there's,
Well,
I think
alright.
that's the issue, right? Is that there's some stuff out there that is art and then people are like, no, this isn't art. This is
Well, they said
inappropriate.
originally I read the Instagram guide to putting pictures up and I was like, drawing some slightly more explicit stuff, and they said, oh, if it's an illustration, it's fine, right? But then like I put up this picture of like a fairy sitting on some dude's face, and she had it was obviously showing her breasts in that particular picture, and then I got like a censorship notice from Instagram, and then I just put like a censored bar, and I thought it was because she was sitting on some guy's face, but I thought I'll do a test and I'll just put like censored across the boobs and across the nipples, even just the nipples, and then suddenly it was okay. So
It's nipples. Yeah, it's the nipple.
I thought they
the bot
resolved
that
that
goes
like
through.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, the nipple Nazi. Like, goes through and it's like, oh my god, nipples. It's kind of sad.
So there's like a nipple algorithm. There's an algorithm
Unless
that's designed
unless it's
Absolutely, man.
grayscale, right? If it's
To detect.
grayscale, does it still engage?
Yep. My friend Caffeine had a big thing about it. She was having an exhibition. A lot of her artwork was explicit and just nipples and stuff, and it just kept getting censored.
You're right.
There's some toy.
Yeah, it's bullshit, man.
Someone put up a video of a toy fair the other day, and like just doing a walkthrough, and they walked past a booth that was just selling like doll bodies, and like it picked
like
up on
blanks.
those as like naked bodies or something like that.
Yeah, but they don't care, and honestly, like it's American companies, and like it's Sioux City, so what'll happen is, it just takes one parent to go, oh my god, my child's traumatized by an image they saw on your service, and I'm gonna sue you for $5 million, blah 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 blah. They committed, like they did something bad because of it, and so they're just like err on the side of caution now. It's
Totally. Yeah.
it's just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no difference to them if like one picture from one drawing of a face-sitting fairy in Australia gets deleted off Instagram.
Exactly.
Well, I can't countersue that shit. Side.
That's a great name for a band. Sorry.
Face-sitting
Face-sitting
fairy.
fairy.
I give it to you for
Such a
free,
good band
internet.
name.
For free.
Actually, let me see.
You get value when you come to our stream. See?
All right, what color next? What color next? I'm throwing it out.
Sorry, what?
I've got. What color should I mix?
Glow in the
next?
dark.
Oh, purple.
Glow in the dark.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I'm using
Everything you want.
opaque resin.
Okay.
So glow in
do you have any
Glow in the
metallics?
dark's not gonna work. Yeah, I've got a gold powder. I can dust the inside of the
do
mold with
Always
the
believe
gold
in your
powder.
soul.
Okay, gold powder it is. Orange. Anyone says orange.
If you're gonna do gold powder, you want to use a black.
Orange, Kenny,
Use
yes.
black pigment in the resin because that makes
Oh,
the
really?
gold pop. Yeah. So you make it any metallics. You make it black resin. Dust the surface of the silicon with the powder, and then it turns out it really pops.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah,
that's a
black
hot
underneath,
Tip.
metallics and stuff.
Hot
Always
tip
the way to
from
go.
Herbie. We should have a segment called Herbie's Hot Tips.
Herbie's hot tip.
this
I'll
is-
make a
this
sting
comes
for
from
it.
working on
Like-
Gods of Egypt, and it was described to my amazing colleague Meg as gold vomit, and we were working in a small workshop recreating every single costume, which was pretty much all gold, out of the mold shop there.
God.
And
Wait, people worked on Gods of Egypt?
Herbie
yeah,
worked on
people worked.
Gods of Egypt.
I worked in that particular hell, yeah. No, it was nice. All the people were nice. All the people you were working with were lovely. Like that's the best thing about film is generally you're working with other creatives, so it's all super nice. It's just the environment is kind of super shitty because you're under so much pressure and you have to work for other people for 10 hours a day minimum, like 5 to 6 days a week. And then you're going up to 14 hours and then sometimes 7 days a week. And it's just, it burns you out, is all that I am saying.
Quick question. If I push this button, is it a new camera now?
I
I'll
can
find
see
out.
your dog now.
Yes,
And now can you
it
see
is
my
a new
face?
camera now.
No, I can see your dog.
No? Just the dog?
Just the dog.
Just the dog.
Just the dog.
Okay, gold. Let's see how we go with the black.
You are dusting the inside, yeah?
Yeah, have a look.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's
Yeah, just
about
put
as
black in the
gold
resin.
as it gets there. This is actually the solid solutions stuff. So let's do
Okay.
some shop. Let's do some shop talk.
Okay.
Solid Solutions, I love it.
Yeah, so I'm using their resin tonight as well. So this is now up on
clear?
eBay for any. No, this is the solid cast 660.
Yep, I love it. The 660. Yeah,
It's now up. It's
Most-
now up on eBay, free shipping.
I know.
So
How
I
much?
don't need any at the moment though.
How much
So, but I
rabbit-
might buy some.
well, you can. And
But
20 kilos.
what's that?
How much for 20 kilos?
Oh,
it's
you'll
like
have to.
300,
You'll have
400,
to
I
look
think.
it up, man.
Still cheap, man. It's not hasn't the price hasn't really changed. I've forgotten though. But yeah, they actually literally called me on the phone and said, "Hey, you were chasing this for so long. We've got it back after
Really?
2 years." Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Oh my god, they were like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that guy called again.
Right.
Yeah, they called me, and they're like, "Oh, you know how?" And I said, "Dude, I was chasing this for like 2 years," and they're like, "Yeah, it's back in stock now." I'm like, "Thanks, man. I have nothing to fucking cast right now, but I will actually now. So maybe I'll."
That's very funny.
But if you go down to their store, which is in some
Murrumbeena.
horrible outer
Yep.
southeastern suburb.
Murrumbeena.
But if you go down to their store, they have an amazing range of powder pigments, and they're very cheap, and they are good. They're better than other name brand ones, which we won't mention.
Yeah.
But
I've got all my pigments from there as well, man.
yeah, and I've been
Any-
using this one, which is Peacock Purple Pearl Powder.
Nice.
For your
What was
peacocks?
that?
That was exciting.
I do like
Actually, maybe I'll
purple.
dust the next mold with that, so you can have a look what
Um,
color that comes out. That is really,
It's a good
Yeah,
idea.
please do.
really nice.
Yeah. Also, if you
talked
can
about
get
now,
a
so
Kenny,
now we
if you
need
can
to
get
see it.
an orange one for Kenny or a bright color tonight.
I'll do. It's really hard to do bright. I can do bright with clear resin, but then obviously clear resin takes all night to set.
Yeah.
What about the fluoros? The fluoro dyes. Have you
So
tried the fluoro dyes?
That's
I've got-
fluoro. That's fluoro purple dye in opaque white resin.
That's fluoro yellow
Yeah.
with the 660.
Where? Show me.
Hang on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I need to put it up on this one.
It's also very like washed out. I can kind of see it as yellow.
Ah, it's too much light in here.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's but it's bright, like the fluoro yellow dye that you can get. I think that solids have a liquid dye, liquid fluoro yellow. It's really nice. Their fluoros are really nice, and they work very well with the 660.
Yeah, I imagine that's true.
Oh, I've come and had a look at your Oh, do that transition again. What happened there? Give me that. Did you just do a stinger transition on your on your YouTube? Oh yeah.
Fancy.
Oh, whoops. I had that unmuted. Oh. We're very professional here.
We exist.
Yeah. I mean,
Why do we exist?
Dang, I
What's the
didn't have
habit?
my blush ready.
Oh, sorry, it was a rhetorical question.
Oh, you didn't want answers? Because, I could have provided, but, if you don't, it's...
I don't think I ever really want an answer to that question.
what do you mean? What was the question? I missed it, to be honest.
Why do we exist?
Oh yeah.
I don't want an answer to that question ever.
Just,
in life, I think.
The answer
Otherwise I'll
is
get
just.
bored. 42.
I think I'm done with sculpting. I'm gonna try and make a mold.
What?
Bulky
Did you even finish?
I'm just not vibing it.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes that's how it goes.
Fair enough. I totally understand. I think I just started and now I'm like in a fugue state, just continuing.
I'm working against time trying to get all this epoxy sculpt bulked and then smoothed and then some sculpting on it before it.
That
It's too
is
much.
why I am very much. That's why I enjoy working with non-time based media.
Yeah, I can't do epoxy
Yeah,
either.
I just, like I tried Sculpey for quite a long time. Like all my first toys were all Sculpey, but there was just something about it that I couldn't get that was clean. And because I like hacking toys, like I love bashing and all that. It's just such a pain in the ass to use Sculpey for kit bashing and doing all that. Like with the epoxy sculpt, it's kind of like it's like a glue as well,
Yeah.
So. But I always mix up too much,
Yeah, that's the trap, right?
Always mix up too
I
much.
do like epoxy sculpt quite a lot, but generally for smaller things, I think it's like a time sort of thing. If I'm like doing something larger, I'll kind of want to work in a media that's I want to work in a media that gives me a little more time, Because I figure that you can only detail so much surface area with epoxy sculpt before it goes off.
You can put it in the freezer, and it stops it.
What?
Stops it
Yep.
completely?
Stops it from setting. Put it in the freezer and freeze it, and it stops it from setting, and you can pull it out of the freezer.
Yeah, right.
And defrost it and keep working on it.
Paunch monster. Everyone say hi to Ian.
Hi, Ian.
Hi, Ian.
You're a paunch monster.
Monster.
We're making toys.
Oh, snap.
Talking
Big
about
old
toys.
stream
It's going to be
team.
a
It's true, it
regular
is a
Monday
stream
thing.
So is this going to be a regular thing every Monday, guys?
Oh.
I'm
Yeah,
keen.
man. I think so.
Yeah.
Wait, Ken was in the screen. In the stream.
He was.
Kenny.
Oh, no, he's gone now.
No.
Oh, no.
Where'd you go, Kenny?
Disappeared.
If anyone's
He
got
did
Twitch
like a
open,
minute ago.
type in ! Kenny.
He just messaged in the YouTube chat that he had to take off.
Was Kenny watching on YouTube and
He was
Twitch?
watching on both.
I think he was watching on both.
What a
Yeah.
champion.
Well, Kenny's our first super fan, you guys.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to like give him some kind of. No, he's here.
Is
K
he?
boy.
Hey,
K boy.
hey.
Are you watching it on YouTube as well, Kenny? We're live on YouTube, Ian, and
He was very patient when I was having the audio issues, trying to help me out.
he's going into full work mode. I do that too. When I'm watching like when I'm watching like Twitch streamers and something's going wrong or they're talking about like microphones, I'm like, let me get into work mode and let's sort this out.
Oh, is it ready, AJ?
Kenny and I work together.
It is, but it's still like very, very warm. So I'm gonna let it cool a little. Even though pulling it out would cool it quicker.
Also, I haven't got it fully set up yet, but I've got it. I'm gonna have a thing where you can get Callum with 1L, my friend and manager, to come out and ask a stupid question. So I think now would be an appropriate time.
Okay.
And you guys probably won't be able to hear what the question is,
Are
but
they
I will
asking a
relay.
stupid question, or
You just repeat the stupid question for us, okay?
I will repeat the stupid question for you. So
it's very nice of you.
Ready. Oh, ready, guys?
okay, all right. The question
Here we
was:
go.
is arse legs? Wait, I'm
Is-
muted.
Is ass
Is-
leg?
Look, it's a good question.
Can you guys hear
No.
me?
Absolutely not.
No, Austin's
No.
no legs.
Oh, I would say
It's a
ass, not legs.
distinct body part.
Hold
'Cause
up.
you can be an ass man, but you can also be a leg man. But you're not necessarily a leg man if you're an ass man.
Yes.
That is the best answer you
That's,
could
Wait.
possibly
Fucking
give
wisdom.
Ian, can you not
Wisdom
hear
right
me?
to a
there.
very stupid question.
Can someone ask Ian if he can hear me?
It's a golden nugget.
Ian,
Actually,
can you hear us?
Amazing.
No, Andrew specifically.
Andrew, can you hear us?
I can hear everyone.
Andrew, I can hear
Ian,
you.
can you hear Andrew?
Have I lost my? This is
I can
very
hear.
weird.
Your will to live?
Oh, this is very strange.
I just-
We can all hear you, man.
Yeah, but I don't think my stream can hear me.
Oh,
Oh,
same thing
no.
happened to me.
Can your stream hear the rest of us?
Remember?
Kenny, can you hear me?
Kenny, I'm doing an orange one for you.
When
now.
he says Kenny, is he talking about Ken?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Kenny.
So they are two
Work.
different people.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Ken doesn't go by Kenny.
Yeah, I think there's two.
Um,
I think there's a Ken in the Twitch and there's
well,
a
there's-
Ken in the YouTube.
There's Kenny.
Ah,
There's
I see.
Kenny as
What
Are
are
they
the chances?
different
Different
work.
people?
and then Ken in YouTube. But I just realised that no one can fucking hear me apparently.
I can hear
Desktop
you.
audio is not working either.
Also, they're different people. Okay, now I'm just confused as fuck.
What the fuck?
Like the other
Oh,
day.
there we go. Fuck that up. I think I've had me not talking for fucking ages.
Been there, done that.
That's all right.
8+
We're all
work,
here to
Andrew.
cover for each other. That's really what matters.
It's alright. We will work all of this shit out.
Yeah.
The gold one.
Been a
I'm
real
quite fond of-
mess of a
Show me. How'd it
tonight.
look? That's a golden third if ever I saw one.
Oh, I'm missing it.
Wow,
Wow, look at that guy.
He's a little leafy guy. See this little leafy
Very
guy?
cool. He's like it reminds me of an artichoke.
So we determined ass is not legs.
Arse is definitely not legs. Did anybody study anatomy when they did art
Arse is a
school?
distinct muscle, man.
Yes, the arse is
Definitely.
distinct model.
Oh, man. Ian, I was really trying to watch you play video games the other day, and it just wouldn't fucking work. And then you were spending more time watching Ben's stream than doing your own stream, which I vibe with. That's fun time. I'm gonna get Callum to come out and ask another question.
I mean, that was a stupid question, but I think.
Oh,
I
he
think
came
we
out and
need
asked the same goddamn question. Hang on. Let's see if I can get it.
Different question,
so
mate.
stupid.
Different question. Been there.
Oh, Fletch, apparently the stream has dropped me, which is fine, but like Chipter,
How so?
Here we go.
I've been replaced with Chipter, apparently. I knew that.
Did you swap your camera? Did you do a swap
Right.
camera thing or something?
No, I
How deep
didn't.
does the plate have to be before it's a bowl?
What the hell?
Ooh.
I would
Okay,
say
all right.
50%.
Hang on a second.
50% of what?
Well, that's for everyone else to decide. I've
It's-
Wait, what was-
contributed
What was the
my
question?
2 cents worth.
How deep does a plate have to be before it's a bowl?
It's also about like the angle, man, and like the
Yeah, I'd say
the length of the
angle's a better measure. Yeah.
yeah, the length of the depth.
But is
as well.
angle not depth? So like a plate.
No, because like okay, so you can have like a plate that's like obtuse, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But like at some point it becomes a bowl that
Okay.
way as well.
I think the easiest way to answer it is like, can you eat soup out of a plate, right?
Yeah.
There's
Uh,
some,
You can, but
you
it's.
know,
You just
I mean,
just
you
very
could.
small portions.
I agree.
Can you
I
eat-
mean, it's like, is a spork a fork or a spoon?
It's not. It's a spork.
no, it's a spork.
Yeah.
Is it a
You just
spoon or a
called it a
fork?
spork.
Yeah, but
You
it,
can't say
it
is
could
a
be a
spork
spoon,
or
it
It's
could be a
its own
fork.
unique
You
character.
can't.
I'm just saying, man.
You could say at what point does a
Orange.
fork become a spoon?
Will you?
That's a question.
And like,
Not
is it
fork
is
and
it still
spoon.
At the point that you can no longer
same.
stick it in something easily.
Is a
is
knife
it is
a
it still
fork?
just a spoon if it's one of those ones that has a spoon on one end and a knife on the other end?
Kenny says,
Ooh.
and this is my Kenny, not Toy Kenny, not Toy Ken. We'll go Kenny and Ken.
Yeah.
Kenny says it depends on your perception. If you perceive it as more flat, like it's a plate. So it's about. But what sort of perception makes it a
Oh,
plate?
here we go. Let's talk about quantum mechanics then, shall we?
Is it a
Okay.
plate and a bowl at the
Sure,
same
you better
time?
start though.
If a tree falls in the woods and there is nobody to observe it, does it actually exist?
That's a
not
boring
quantum
question.
mechanics, That's Zen.
No, it's actually a really exciting
Boring.
question. Because
That's
No,
a
what's the answer
philosophy
then?
question.
What's the answer? No, it's not philosophy, it's physics. What's the answer?
Yeah,
What
it
does the
makes-
tree
makes
exist?
sound, man.
If there is nothing to observe the tree at all, the tree does not exist.
Sound is.
It's very simple. It's very simple. We have
Sound
seen
is
fallen
just
trees.
physical waves.
No, but you
movement in the
but
air.
you observed the fallen tree, so therefore then it existed. But if you don't actually observe it, it does not exist. And this is
Okay.
tried and true quantum theory.
So
I think
by
I
that-
covered this all when I,
But the problem is that in the world somewhere there is always something to observe.
there is always a plate to eat soup
Also,
out
it's
of.
kind of biased because it means you're saying that other sentient creatures can't perceive things. Basically, what they're saying, because a tree, based on its preliminary existence, needs other life forms to exist. Other life
It's a good
forms like
conversation.
insects, right? And that means that whoever comes up with this argument is not. They're talking about a tree falling in the fucking void with nothing living on it, right? It's the same as like people measuring gravity in mathematics. Mathematics is all done in the void until you're like finally high school, right? It's like assuming that you're in a fucking void. You're not applying like vectors or ratios or fucking all that shit.
okay.
So if there are insects that are witnessing it, right, it definitely happened. What these people are saying, these fucking philosophers, is that insects are not
Physicists.
sentient creatures. Animals are not sentient creatures.
They're not.
They undervalue their existence. Look, obviously Andrew values them because they're making a dog. Right now, I know how much Andrew likes dogs, alive or dead.
I prefer cats, to be perfectly frank with you.
Okay, right.
Can I tell you my sketch idea? You want to
Yeah,
hear my
go
Okay,
sketch idea,
give
guys?
us your sketch
Like
idea.
drawing or comedy?
Comedy sketch or
I can't draw. We talked about that last week. I can't draw.
We
Oh,
did
you
talk about
you want
that.
someone
Okay.
to sketch something?
Yeah, I want someone to sketch this for me.
Okay.
So, all right. Interior, right? I'll set the scene. Interior.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Person sits on couch patting a dog. You know, someone.
Why not a cat? I thought you just said
Yeah,
you
you
liked
know,
cats.
like
listen
it.
to my sketch idea, Dan.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
I like it. I like it.
Man,
Jeez Louise,
It's good.
getting ahead of yourself, Fletch. Okay, so, person on couch sits there patting a dog. You know, a dog's loyal. A dog's a really great companion. Dog is man's best friend. I love a dog. Dogs are the best things ever. Cats are disgusting. Cats are awful. You know, a cat will eat you when you die. You know, like they don't appreciate people. They're really snooty and awful, and they always take so much bloody attention. And you know, you try and pat a cat, and it just hisses and scratches at you. Oh, I hate cats. Cats fucking suck. And then it cuts to another person on the couch with a cat, and it says, "This is blah blah blah. They're a cat person." And then they go, "Oh, I like dogs. I just prefer cats." That's my whole sketch idea.
that's a good sketch.
You got it.
Write it up.
I mean-
Rack
I
it
mean-
along.
The takeaway
Wait.
is that dog people
Wait.
fucking
No.
hate cats. They fucking hate
Yeah,
it.
I know. Like, what the fuck's with that?
But cat
Right?
people-
Like, I prefer cats, but I don't hate dogs.
Exactly.
I'm not a dog person.
That's-
And then you get the derision from the dog people when they're like, you know, they introduce you to their dog and you're like, yeah, hi, you pat it, and you don't get so excited about a dog, and then like, oh, you're not a dog
Oh,
person,
you fucking
are
hate
you?
dogs.
I think.
And I'm like, no, man, I don't like dogs. I just don't want to like have its tongue in my mouth. Like, fuck, it's fucking gross. Like, why are you kissing your dog, man? Why?
Dogs are
I
very
think-
It's
intense.
been licking his balls.
I think for some men, like being a dog person or having a dog is like tied to masculinity. And like if you
Toxic
and-
masculinity.
Yeah, and if you're like you don't like a dog or whatever, like it's a sign for them or something. I always tell people that I don't like dogs because I don't know what to do with them. Like I know what a cat's all about, you know.
Yeah.
Like if
Oh, that one came in. Oh no, I still had a bit of gold on the inside of that mold. Look at that.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's have a look. Oh, I
Shiny,
like the
Oh,
gold. Is that
shiny.
like
It's alright.
flesh? Or is that orange, like light orange?
That was the fluoro orange. That's what it
the
comes
fluoro
out.
orange.
Yeah. I don't know how
Sometimes the
Fletch
mistakes are the
managed to
best,
get it.
man.
Depth
it's so yellow.
perception. I just worked out your joke, Ian. That joke is A+.
oh wait, depth perception.
With the bowls. We're talking about the bowls.
yeah,
One of them
no.
was
You know, I
No,
heard
you're right.
I heard
Yeah.
once, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I heard once that cats are as intelligent as chickens. They're about roughly the same level of intelligence, but because
Really?
cats have a
I don't know
more
about that.
flexible range of movement, we attribute more intelligence to them.
Interesting.
We used to have chickens. They were
Not very smart, man.
Yeah, but cats
Not
aren't that
very
smart. Come
I had
on.
chickens.
I've had
They-
cats. I've
dude,
had cats my
my
whole
cat
life.
was pretty
They're-
smart.
Cats are
Yeah,
I
cats
taught
can-
my cat how to fetch a stick.
Animals aren't as smart as people want them to be. Let's be real.
Yeah, you can teach a chicken to fetch a stick.
I mean, we never really tried to teach them anything.
How much do you want to bet?
Look,
I will
okay, I've
bet
never
you
tried
a
to
lifetime
teach
supply of Korean wine that I can teach my chicken to fetch a stick.
All right, done.
Wow.
Done.
No,
what do I get?
Getting real,
If you
guys.
can't-
That's I don't know. What do you want? Well,
Do you
can
wanna
have
eat
the
the
joy.
chicken?
You know, all
wanna
I
eat
want
the
is
chicken
toys,
afterwards
man.
as
Right?
punishment?
The chicken fetch a stick.
If the
Okay,
chicken doesn't
so-
fetch a stick, then Fletch gets to eat it.
You know what I want, AJ? You can find somebody, because you can speak Japanese, you can find somebody that can find me black koji.
Oh yeah, yep.
What's black
Yep.
koji?
Actually,
You can get
actually,
white, you
I
can get
know
white
someone here
koji
in Melbourne.
Australia, but I cannot get
I know
black
someone
koji.
here in Melbourne, and I reckon she can get it for you.
Got a couple of
Alright.
comments in chat. We've got one from Kenny and one from Ian. Ian says, I'm an anomaly then. I'm a dog person who's more recently had a bunch of cats. Cats are so much less work than dogs, and they're
that's
just
true.
as loving creatures. They are.
They are.
Oh,
This is
they
true.
are.
This is very
Um,
true.
And then Kenny says, I love cats so much. They are so chill and each have their own personalities. Dogs can be insane when they're young. My neighbor has this adorable little puppy, but oh my God, it's insane little tyrant. And it's insane little tyrant, I imagine destroying him. I imagine him destroying everything in their house.
I just want to say hello to Edwin RSA. Hi.
Hi,
He said
everyone.
hello, everybody,
Hello,
Hello.
Edwin, in YouTube chat.
in
Hello.
YouTube chat.
Kenny, these are the lights that I got today. My Kenny, not YouTube Kenny.
There's
Twitch
been a
Kenny.
lot of discussion in my house about getting a young dog, like a puppy.
Mhm.
I can't do it, man. Not with all these toys around. It's not a good idea.
Oh yeah, it'll chew.
Yeah,
'em.
too risky.
So I was considering an old
But
dog.
that's the difference between in your house.
Yeah, get an older dog.
An old dog.
Or get
Show
a
us-
Bengal cat, which is like a dog, but not a dog, and it's a cat.
Liam, can you show us the cat again?
Oh.
The Safubi cat?
Mrr, Nagor.
They're winners, baby. A+, double A+.
Who wants to see my dog?
Let's see your doggy.
Look, all this
Yeah,
talk of
so that
animals, yes.
So that everyone can display their appropriate levels of awe or
enthusiasm.
dissatisfaction. Yeah. Come
Oh
on.
my god, look at Sadie just
Oh,
hanging out.
I thought you had the dog version of
Hi, Zadie.
Nagora.
Hey, Sadie.
Hey, Zadie.
Hi, Zadie.
Sup, Sadie?
No.
Ian wants to see
That
all
was
the
the dog.
pets.
The dog destroyed the camera.
You know what? Let's get the proof here. Zadie, do you prefer dogs or cats?
Yeah,
Zadie,
ask
you
Zadie.
like dogs or cats?
Loves the cats?
She likes cats.
Just
Yes.
saying. I don't know. There's a real thing like cats, artists, writers, cats. You know, like I don't know, it's a thing.
I don't know. I know a lot of photographers who like dogs.
What's your dog's name again, AJ?
Leroy Jenkins.
That's right.
Perfect.
How many of us have known people who've had dogs called Trooper?
Trooper, not me. I don't
Really?
know anyone.
Oh, I don't know any
No.
troopers.
I've met at least 2 people with dogs called Troopers, and they will tell you that their dog is called Trooper because he's such a trooper.
Such a trooper.
And it's just like
Such a
it's
fucking
just
Australian
like,
thing, man.
oh,
Yeah, that's-
die.
Mate,
It's just so Australian.
fucking trooper.
It's the
Or
worst.
dog.
God
And
damn.
it's always like a profound thing for them. They're like,
You know, sometimes he runs through the mud. He runs through the fucking mud. Sometimes he gets fucking dirty. Like a fucking
Such a
trooper.
fucking trooper.
What a trooper!
the worst.
Little trooper.
And there'll be the dudes who bring their dog to a party as well.
Like it's a guitar.
In a-
They're
in
gonna
a-
like start making their dog sing like Hallelujah, the Jeff Buckley version.
Oh, they do it. They record it, right?
yeah, yeah.
And so this is a really anti-dog stream, isn't it?
I'm a dog.
I like
I'm
dogs.
okay with
Hey, hey,
I like
I
Call
dogs.
of the
We're
Wild.
just going
great
on about
movie,
how like
great
cat
book.
people love dogs.
I
so
like
much.
dogs. I don't like dog people.
I kind of want to get a corgi or something. Like I figure if we get a place that can have a dog, I'll have to move
Not
everything
sure.
up. But that's something I'm prepared to like put doors on my cupboards to keep like my
Apparently,
comics safe and
corgis-
stuff.
Corgis can apparently be dangerous because they're too intelligent. Oh no, that's Cheebs. Cheebs can be too intelligent and they can own you.
They can own you.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
saw
What?
I saw a really
What's
good
a
video of a chibi today that it was like that it owned its own like the premise was that it owned its own little like bodega or like
Is that the dog that sells cigarettes?
I'm
it
sorry,
it
dudes.
just seemed like it wanted to give everyone like a cucumber. It was like the
Oh,
person gave
okay.
it money and it was like, here's the cucumber again. Well, I don't know
Dude,
if I want a
what's a
cucumber
cheeb?
the dog's had in its mouth, but it was very cute.
Sorry for this non-dog person. What's a cheeb?
It's the Japanese.
To me, it sounds
dog.
like a joint. Oh, those things.
Like
Yeah.
a Shiba Inu?
Mm.
Like what's his name? Hachi?
Oh,
Tofu,
Hachiko.
like tofu.
Hachiko?
Yeah, the dog.
so
Tofu.
The dog.
do you guys?
No, Chiba's different from a Shiba.
If we're talking
I
about
wasn't sure if
dogs,
people were just
guys,
saying it wrong.
I had a question. If we're talking about dogs and cats,
Yep.
what about toys? Have you guys seen any toys or artists that have made dogs or cats that that's really kind of stuck out?
I really love Godzilla cat.
Someone's clearly forgetting that Andrew has made a bunch of dog toys.
Yes.
Thanks,
that
Fletch.
is
I got
true.
2.
I'm
Actually,
gonna collect up all my
dog
cat
toys
toys.
right now.
Oh yeah, we are making a dog toy as well.
I have been
Yeah,
doing.
you're
for
making
the
one.
last-
You're making an IP dog toy. Someone else's IP.
Yeah. Hey Chip, do you have Skeleton Bandit?
That it is here. Hold on. I'll go
Okay.
grab it.
So
There's one.
so the
I've
premise
been
of
wanting
this.
to make a cat as
Oh, yeah.
as a dice charm because you've got to make a
Mm.
lucky cat dice
Oh,
charm.
yeah.
But I really want to make one of those one-eyed lucky cats. But I wasn't sure if there was like a major artist who's already sort of like doing the one-eyed lucky cat.
Does it matter?
Nah,
Um,
just
your
do
own
it,
Do your
man.
own version.
There-
Do your own
True.
version, dude.
Yeah.
I guess the
If you don't have the reference, then it's going to end up different anyway.
Look,
I
I
guess
made
the
a
main-
little fluoro Han Solo the other day. So I made my first bootleg toy. This Han Solo has been made literally thousands of times. Good night, Kenny. See you tomorrow.
This
Hi,
is a Liam D.
Oh, here we go.
This is Liam's design of something that I
Oh, that's cool.
Did you sculpt that?
on top of the
Oh, nice.
of Bandit. So this is
A bad doggy.
and
Kenny, do a roll for
the ball bearings for eyes.
Yeah,
prosperity.
because the original figures that he's inspired by. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I'll have to hold him upside down to get him close to the camera.
Hang on.
If you
Let
can
me
see,
let me go to Liam.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, Skeleton Warriors.
Yeah.
The gold eyes. Damn.
So the thing, okay, the premise of this is that the tune for the Bluey theme song is extremely similar to the tune for the Skeleton Warriors cartoon,
According to Liam.
according to me. I've showed it to some people, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I see it," and Chip there is like, "Nah, man." But like to me, that's it's still. I think they could go well. I haven't gotten around to trying to like mix the two together yet. But I feel like it would be a flow between like the Bluey tune and the Bandit. But then I was just like, I drew a picture up and I was like, yeah, I just want to get this done. And yeah,
It's a badass idea. I feel that, man. It looks like a movie, you know, especially when you check out the packaging that Liam's designed. It really just speaks volumes, especially because Bandit's job, as Liam told me, is something to do with archaeology, something to do with. Is that right, Liam?
yeah. Like he works at a museum in like what is it where you like study different cultures /
Anthropology.
Anthropology.
Yeah, so I think he's an anthropologist.
Yeah. So the idea is that like he would have uncovered some, you know, in the archives of the museum, he would have uncovered some unholy bone or crystal, something that transformed him into. Yeah, that's it. Move your head.
Okay. Okay. That's the easiest way I can show it. Yeah,
Can you get that? Can the guys online see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I've got a blue cardies. Let's see if it'll cover me up. No, it doesn't.
Whoa!
Oh, there we go. Kind of.
Whoa!
Oh yeah, it sort of it worked.
Oh. It doesn't go if I do this though.
Now you look like a nun.
Oh.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa.
Ah.
Cool.
Like a magic.
Which one's Ian? Also, I made this. What camera can you guys see at the moment?
We're seeing the one of your table.
The table. What about now?
Now I'm seeing an OBS screen.
Ugh. But now.
Now I'm seeing a table.
All right. I'll sort that
Yep,
out later.
table.
Table's fine. You guys can look at the table. I made my
is that your
first
quad?
shitty mashup. Hang on.
Is that a quark?
So I managed to get the epoxy sculpt down. So I'm doing this. I'm using this scale tool.
I am.
See this? I don't know if. Oh yeah, I need to show you guys. So
In
I've got this
YouTube, I
scale.
can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got this scale tool. So I've smoothed this down. So I'm going to do some more scales on this thing.
I thought I had a scale tool,
so-
man.
I saw
But
that
it's
lot.
actually
Can you
it's
show
actually
me the
good
scale
to-
tool up close
The
in
Dana
your
and the
face
Han
camera?
Solo.
It's blowing out a bit. Yeah.
Hang on, I'll try to do it so that my back's.
I made it glow in the dark.
Yeah, nice. I like it.
Yeah, so it's good when the epoxy sculpt starts to get a bit hard because the scales actually form a bit better.
Yeah.
So if I can get this done, it should be right.
Actually,
Andrew.
that is one of the better things about epoxy sculpt.
Andrew, what head do you have on that the glow in the dark figure?
It's it's not. It didn't turn out great. But it's a jack-o'-lantern, the jack-o'-lantern that I made for the ghost dogs.
Okay, right.
And so I just super glued it onto this body, so it's like fucking Han Solo. Because when I first made the mold, the neck joint, the silicone went in too far, and so it came out completely clean without a head. So the body
Right.
just came out completely clean without a head. This was the second pull I did, because this is the first time I've bothered making like a bootleg like Star Wars toy. And this one I'll keep, but the plan is to just give them to people as like, you know, bonus pieces that come with them. But this one, yeah, like it didn't turn out like none of the glow in the dark shit I made turned out as good as I wanted it to, which is annoying. I'm doing a show in October, so I've got to make tons of little the little ghost dog dudes. But I want to try and make something else that's kind of actually that's what I should probably do is try and sculpt a little skull. But long story short, yeah, it was just a little jack-o'-lantern stuck onto the head of this glow in the dark. So it's a bit hard to see.
So
No idea
it didn't.
it's-
It
What
doesn't.
camera can
It
you guys
doesn't
see?
glow enough. Is that the issue?
What cam you got at the moment, guys?
Table cam.
Fucking table cam. Not my beautiful face. That's fine.
Guys, I went and got all my cat toys off my shelf.
Oh,
Oh, really?
And
one by one.
These ones that your cat has already played with.
I don't have a cat.
Oh, why do you?
I mean, he would never have a cat.
I do have. Actually do love cats, and I wish we could have a cat, but we live next to a major road, and we already lost one
Yeah.
poor cat. And
That's
I'd
not
not
a good thing.
Ooh,
Like-
I want one of those. Is that one of the VAGs size ones?
Yeah,
or-
so that's-
yeah.
No, that's bigger.
Yep.
Teresa Chiba. That's the VAG version. I got a lot
Oh.
of these little VAG
I
ones.
love
so.
her work, yeah.
My Negoras, which we've already
Oh.
seen.
Yeah,
Nice.
those are the VAG ones, right?
I've
They are
got a
so
bunch of
cool.
those.
Those are
First
good.
time I saw them, I was like dying. But we were in Japan when we were looking at them, and they were so expensive.
Hey, Morris. Morris is
That's
cat
a
with
deer,
hands,
AJ.
yeah.
Very
What's
cute.
that?
That's a deer, not a cat.
No, that's
No.
that's Morris the cat with antlers.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
cute.
Oh, can you show his friends?
Yeah, Morris has got little mice that live in the back of his hoodie.
Oh, that's cute.
Cute.
I've got this one. Is this a cat?
Oh,
Yeah.
Fletchy, what
Oh,
is
yeah.
that one?
It's more of an alien.
That is a cat.
That's like,
That one is a cat, yes.
It is a cat. Got to redo its eyes. Oh, these are good ones. These come as a pair.
Oh, they're cute. They got many eyes in their eyes.
They've got so many eyes in their eyes. They're kind
It's
of
like a 90s Tool album cover.
yes, exactly right. It's like a cat from a Tool video clip.
Ian,
This
do you
is
like Tool?
That's a Tool order.
Refreshment toys. Japanese sofubi.
Oh,
What
okay.
else? Oh, this guy.
I haven't had dinner yet.
Oh, you got one of them too?
Oh yeah, it's
You
so
got one?
good.
You got one
Yeah,
there?
It's
I love
such
it.
a good
Oh.
one.
Oh, Mickey.
Is that by
brought-
the same artist that did the Magaru Senpai, like the fish
Maguro
one?
Senpai.
Yeah,
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 it is.
But is it a
yes.
guy wearing a cat or a cat sitting on a guy?
It's a guy who's
Yeah,
turning
that is
into
the
his
question.
turning into the cat.
That-
It says
Turning
on the
into the
packaging.
That is
Yeah,
the question.
My partner saw that you brought them up on the stream, so yeah, I've got the cat, and
Oh,
I've
has
got
he
the
got-
bear as well.
Oh,
much
wow.
legs. Hang on, let's jump to
I
let's
stopped
jump
at the
to
cat.
Wait, Liam? Yes.
Oh
look at
no,
those.
my partner's bringing in all my Sofubi stuff now.
Yeah, good. You should do that.
Wait, last cat, and then you can
Last
show
one.
off, Liam.
All right,
Last
okay.
cat. Grape Brain.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh,
That's a good one as well.
do you want to
Oh,
get?
Yeah,
Sofubi cats. Sofubi cats
I
in the
really
chat.
like this. I really like this one.
Turn the background off.
This
Oh,
is
okay.
this is one of my most fun toys to actually play with because of
Oh, is that how the arms are articulated? Oh, you want to see if
the
this?
arms
Is...
are
Okay, let's
articulated
just. I'm
sideways.
gonna see if this glows in the dark on mine. Okay, try it. Does it? Hey, there we go.
Hey.
Oh, it does glow pretty good.
Yeah, this is my one and only real headpiece.
I don't have any real head.
Oh, I do like that priest.
That's not a cat.
No, it's not.
That's not a cat.
I
I think-
really want to
isn't
see
that
these.
Get out of here with that
Let's see.
non-cat.
What have I got, Cat? All right, I've got one of Javier's little All right, let me comment. It's one of the one in Neku.
I really want to see these, but I'm working against time with this epoxy sculpt, so I'll watch it on the
Wait,
stream.
no,
later.
I don't have Javier's one. I have this one.
Oh, okay.
Knife head cat.
So yeah, so
Okay.
last night I ordered one in Neku, like the mainline Javier's, the stick-up monsters. Ordered one of those, and he's got new like possessed baseball bats, ghost
Oh, I've
bats.
seen those. They look so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I picked up the one I wanted. Got sniped for me. Someone grabbed it before I could get it, but yeah. He's brought in more. He's brought in like my little Korean Anna toys. You know these guys?
Oh, cute.
Yeah. Oh, this is the Anatoy. And you can like pop. They're all like, if you look at the back, there's the camera. They've got like a.
Can you guys see me?
I can see you now.
See your face,
You see
yeah.
my face?
You can,
There you go. That's the glow in the dark.
Nice. I can't pop it out, but you can pop out their feet, including their shoes and their wrists, and there's like little bone joints in those.
Oh, for real? Pop them out.
Yeah.
I want to see.
Oh, there we go.
That's
Oh, that's
great.
fun.
Yeah,
Can
and
you
they do like little extra packs of different shoes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Who did one of those? I think Liam, a different Liam. Mecha Mojo Liam.
Oh yeah.
Did
They've,
some custom ones of those. There was a custom show. I want to say recently, but fuck, it was probably like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Who
I think
knows?
I
I
remember.
don't remember.
Yeah.
Would have been.
Um,
I think I know the one you're talking about actually.
Kicks or Quicks. Quicks also did some.
mm.
Okay.
This is a crossover with another figure called Orange Boy.
Orange.
Orange, yeah. So that's him. He's got a cool little. They do a bunch of different ones of him, and I want to get more, but like, I can't keep buying more of the same figure when there's so many other ones I want to get.
Yeah,
Well, you can.
Oh, this is
you do right.
this is
that okay?
one of the few dog
That's
toys
okay.
I have.
We'll forgive you.
Thanks.
Which Tool song are you going to listen to?
I've
This
never
is-
listened to
alright.
Tool.
Oh, you've never
another,
listened to Tool.
Stick Up
You've never
Monsters
heard
figure.
Tool. It's pretty weird.
It's like
weird.
Akita.
I mean, they
something.
made music, whatever.
Fucking clay all over my glow in the dark.
Oh,
That's all I know.
That was pretty rough, but I got it done.
Good work.
See-
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Nice. What's happening here? Oh,
It's
pop
popping
it out, baby.
Oh man. You
Pop
know,
it out. Yeah. Another one.
I'll show off two more of these
I'm
figures.
definitely doing resin casting next week.
Yes.
I got
doesn't matter.
it's a little dusty, but I got this little Baked-On VAG figure.
oh yeah, I've got him too.
Oh, that's
We were
good.
so
That's
I was
really-
in Singapore and I'd only just got when I was in Japan I wasn't like into Safubi. Like I saw it and I liked it, but I wasn't like into it and I didn't really pick anything up.
Yeah.
'Cause I was more into like Kamen Rider and model kits at the time. So that's kind of what I was looking at. So I didn't really get anything. And then we went to Singapore and I went to
You went crazy.
well that's
Chinatown? You went
no,
to the place in Chinatown?
Havelock 2 is the name of the building. And
Yep,
I'm trying to
I know.
remember the name of the shop, which is killing me that I can't remember, but it's like the shop in Singapore.
I know what you're
That
talking about.
one. Yeah, and they had those, and they had more VAG figures and stuff, and they're like $5. They were like $5 a pop, and I'm like, I will get one of that and one of that. I'm like, so stupid. Like, why I didn't buy just like
Can
fistfuls?
you show those ones again, Liam, please?
Yeah,
Heavy prog's not for me. Launch.
This is
Oh,
like
I love the Byron. The Byron's one of my faves.
wait, this
I-
one's
I've-
Byron and this one's Reg.
Yeah, the Byron
Ragnaron.
T9G one.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot this one. This might be my favorite cat
Oh,
toy.
wait, who does that one?
I know.
I'm frantically
What is that?
trying to
Oh.
get the right. Show that one again.
The
Oh,
three-eyed
all my
cat.
Phoebe's inside, man.
Yeah, we could talk about toys all day, Ian. We're
Um,
going to.
That's the plan, right? That's why we're here, right?
This is like
Yeah,
a
talk,
Mine's
mate.
wrong
stream
place.
about toys, right?
Hang on. Let me get my biggest Safubi I've got.
All my Phoebe's inside.
This one's technically not a cat, but this is like probably like my prize figure because I wanted it so much. And Baked-On was the maker who got me into
Let me
Safubi.
just get this bad boy glowing up.
Ooh, but let me just see. I don't like to do this often.
Oh wow,
Don't mind
that's
me.
turned on.
Pop this dude's
Look at that
helmet
shit.
off.
Oh, that's cool.
Little cute boy underneath.
I do have some Safubi here. I love this guy. This is my Pogworks.
This is my Josh Groman.
Man, my lights.
Not the
aren't
Rotten
singing.
Rex. What did he call the Tyrannosaurus one?
I'm not.
Yeah, it was Rotten Rex.
With
Rotten
the
Rex is
with
the-
the
yeah.
Tyrannosaurus head though.
Not
Yeah.
sure because I only remember the other one's King Corpse, right? That's the same guy, right?
Fucking sick. This is such a good piece, and I love that because I've got it's. I don't know if you can quite see. Hang on, let me angle my camera. So that shelf behind me that. This one here, that's the glow in the dark stuff. And like, fuck, I love glow in the dark toys. When I say like, when someone will mention black lights, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I've got a black light, and people are like, oh, what's that for? And they make like, jizz jokes. I'm like, no, it's much more embarrassing. It's for my toys. It's for my glow in the dark toys.
Understandable.
But yeah, this thing, look how big it is.
It's huge.
But it's like it doesn't really like standing up properly, so I have to like put his feet in a weird angle, and that's the one thing I don't like. That's the one thing that kind of bothers me about it, is that the feet are just like angles.
So I don't want to like try and like bury that dude's stuff, right? Because like they're
Josh Groman.
Yeah, because like it's super cool. It's like detail, and it's really how they come out looks great. Like King Corpse, right? Same dude.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like it's a crazy thing, but like, and I don't know what material they'd make it in otherwise, other than like a statue or something like that.
It's all vinyl.
Monster clay.
Like it just
probably monster clay.
Yeah, I mean, like I know it comes out as soft vinyl, but it's like.
Oh, you mean what he sculpts it in?
Monster clay.
No,
I'm
more arguing with the fact that like it's just so detailed for Sofubi, and like I'm not trying to say like gatekeepery thing, like it needs to be like.
You like smooth Sofubi.
Well, like I don't know why you. I guess it just doesn't.
You can get so much detail out of it. That's the thing.
I know. Like I've got this guy, Naga from Tech Toys, and he's got like really nice hair in the head, especially because this has got like a metallic kind of gleam thing to it, and that's really cool. And I get that. It's just like I don't. Like it makes the most sense for a toy to be soft vinyl in that size, right? Because otherwise, that would just be like super heavy.
Yeah.
But like, following like, I guess because it comes from my idea from a certain point of view that the reason why you would choose soft vinyl is so that it would like sit in a sort of realm of figures. But like, I know it's like super like. A pigeonhole-y kind of idea.
Well, like, what do you mean by realm? I'm curious as to this, like.
Well, the thing is, it's that sort of thing where it's like a surface thought I have about stuff, but I know that as soon as I think about it, I start remembering like X plus that super detailed like Godzilla figures and
Is it because your idea of vinyl toys are smooth and soft?
Not apparently smooth, but like they're of a certain.
Simplistic, perhaps.
Yeah, and the other thing I'm mindful of is that he's like also a Western artist dealing in a thing that's right now a very, very Asian centric.
I mean,
aren't we all doing that?
Yeah, we're all doing that.
No, it's true.
And he's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, James Groman is a legend, man. He invented Madballs.
Yeah.
True.
This conversation, this dialogue in toys and design, however, has been going back and forth between like Japan and America, let's face it, for fucking generations at this point. Yeah. Like it's, even if you take it back to the idea of like fantasy, what is fantasy? And then like people are like, oh, fantasy's like King Arthur and shit like that. And like then it's like Tolkien. And then throw it to Japan and they're like, no, fantasy's like Final Fantasy. And then throw it back to the West and it's like, no, it's like fucking Halo and shit like that. And then.
Okay.
No,
Here's a question then. How do we define ourselves as Australian toy artists without being pigeonholed either as American or through the Asian market? How do we distinguish ourselves as Australian artists, and what aesthetic and what tone do we have? Because we basically crib from all of it.
I want to say what defines Australian toys is moose.
yeah. But also, I just want to quickly say the term Sofubi is a portmanteau of a Japafic. What was the word that Kenny used before?
Romanji.
Romanji of
Thanks, Paunch Monster.
Of soft vinyl. So it's like it's like those words have been. It's kind of like been gone through. Like the etymology of it is interesting alone.
Yeah, it's like gunpla or plamo.
Yeah,
it's like that. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I just think you guys are forgetting that, like, a lot of the toy artists that are part of This Is Not a Toy Scene aren't even into Sofubi at all. Like,
No.
I mean,
No, that's right.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
I'm actually anti-Sofubi, and I always have been, because to me that's like cheap toys. It's what I grew up on. It's trash. But now, like the
these
way
boys.
that like people have been using that to create cool stuff, like that I think is cool now. I think it's amazing, like toys have developed that way. But I think that Australian toy designers are very different to like what's going on. I mean, this is to answer your question, Fletch. I think that Australian toy design is focused on any particular type of toy, because we don't have the industry here. You don't. It's not easy for you guys to produce vinyl Sofubi toys the way you want to. It's not easy to do the stuff that they're doing in China, where they're just doing bootleg GI Joes and bootleg style.
Yep,
stuff.
we killed our manufacturing. We killed our manufacturing in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, but we're
so,
doing our
yeah.
own manufacturing now. Is the thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I wanted to go to, like exactly what Herbie just said, which is there's this open there's this chance for us all to ignite that industry again, you know. And the question is, how do we go that way? Do we go the vinyl Sofubi way, or do we go like the ABS plastic way, or do we go continue with, you know, the polyurethane plastic, or do we go into recycled plastics, HDPE plastics? Like, there's so many
I gotta
different.
say the recycling plastic injection molding stuff's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
That's true. The problem here in Australia is the cost, and it's always going to be the cost. You know, like we are to manufacture. Like if we can manage to build something like that here and reduce the cost, that would be great. But even the US manufacturing is cheaper than here.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, but that's.
I mean, you look at there's a couple of guys that are making. I'm sorry to go back to Sofubi, but there's a couple of guys making Sofubi in the States, and we've had one guy try to make Sofubi here in Australia, and it was just cost prohibitive. It was so expensive. You know.
Yeah.
What was
talking-
something
Yeah.
cafe? What was his name? I met him at a show. He's a nice guy.
Was it?
Well,
Yeah.
there's a few people that have done it. There's a few people that have done it. It's just
Lewis-
not.
Morley from Blue Mountains
He's still working on it.
Yeah.
He's still working on it.
still can't get it down. He's having trouble getting it the way he wants it to be.
Yeah. So he's trying to do it from scratch. Like he's not trying to just make soft vinyl toys, because there's a there'd
But that's
be-
what we need.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
totally.
That is
And
what we
the
need.
thing is that
Yeah.
like the trials and tribulations that have kind of like
Charles and Tribbles.
watching his Instagram stories is like the whole process. Watching it fail is just as interesting as watching it succeed.
That's true. That's very true.
It's a whole, like, it's exciting when there's those like breakthroughs where he's like, yes, I've got this hat. You know what I mean? Like he's just like, I've finally like made a vinyl hat that's not full of bubbles and like, you know,
Falling
melted
apart, yeah.
Yeah.
That's very
And
true.
that's
Yeah,
like,
it's
super
fascinating.
exciting, but it's just, it's a night. It's like you can't the actual liquid plastic that they make
Expensive.
Sofubi in. I don't think you can import it out of Japan.
It's well, the stuff that he's got, it's not the same, I don't think.
No, he's doing vinyl.
But it's very expensive, and it's, you know, because here in Australia, that substance is actually controlled. It's a controlled chemical.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think he must have had to get permit for it or something, because I think he has the industry contacts. Maybe, I don't know. I still want to pick his brain about it, like so much more. But, you know, things like that, for us to do it, there's so many chemicals in that and substances that they use overseas that we can never use here, purely because they're controlled substances as well.
Yeah.
So
true.
maybe the recycled plastic thing is a great way to go, but we need to, you know, work out, you know, purchasing an injection mold is great, but how do we build these things for ourselves, and can we get somebody to manufacture them locally to make them, and can we make it cheap? I just don't know. I don't think we can.
I think,
you know,
That's why Liam and I are buying our own machine, because that if we can prove that 3D printing your own molds works, that's a game changer. And I know that
I think you can.
the Craftman has.
Well, you can, but can we?
Can we? Exactly.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I guess.
Can we with the resources available, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like
you've got to make things so much tighter on a metal mold that you're using for injection molding than you do with a silicon mold, because you don't have just gravity working against you. You've got pressure.
Pressure as
Do you
well.
need to
It's
but
not-
do you don't need a metal mold for an injection mold, do you? You can use hard silicon, right?
With the low pressure, you can use. So
It's
they,
going to end up being about 6 tons of pressure that you're feeding through
Yeah,
one.
it's probably got to be metal, man.
Well, at least you need to have like a metal frame for it.
Yeah.
To keep it all tight.
So I mean, you can cast aluminium pretty easily. It's not hard to cast aluminium.
Yeah,
It's actually quite. I've casted aluminium before. It's actually really quite easy.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how
You mean cold casting?
doing all the.
No, casting aluminium with a
Like
a kiln and melting down your
crucible,
aluminium.
like a lost
Yeah.
wax or whatever they call it.
No, you
Fine art.
use a sand.
Yeah.
A special thing called green sand,
Mm.
and you put what you want to actually create the mold for into that, and it packs. And when you pull it out, the sand actually stays completely and absolutely intact. Or you can use wax. You can have the wax figure and put the wax figure in there, and then pack the green sand around it, and then you do your vents and stuff. And when it goes in, but the problem with that is it's a one use thing.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But if you're making a mold with it, you make the mold out of wax, and then you put it in the green sand, and then you melt down your aluminium in a kiln, and you can make your own kiln at home. It's not difficult to make. You just need a vacuum cleaner, basically. The most dangerous thing is melting down the aluminium, and
Yeah.
you can get scrap aluminium from anywhere. So, in theory, you could make aluminium molds. There's a foundry in there's a couple of foundries in Melbourne. There's a foundry in Collingwood. There's a couple of artists that work with like foundry stuff that we have resources to pull on. So that might be an option, is to actually, 3D print out your piece, the mold, and then work and do an aluminium mold, because aluminium, it won't last as long, for injection molding, but you could test it. It'll last a fair
last a
long
while.
time, I reckon. Yeah. Maybe that's an option to try.
The hard thing is that
I'd be very curious. I'd love to.
These guys were made using
with
aluminum
that
molds. That's how we sandcasted these ones,
Okay.
the Bunyip Boys.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean that totally works. But I still think that having the blank frames made out of steel is the best option, because you got to make sure that you've got like all those hairline air ways so that the air can escape. And once you're clamping stuff together, aluminum doesn't work well with a lot of pressure. Like, it does tend to squash.
You can get molds tooled, like a couple $100, I think. Or is it more than that to get a mold tooled?
Well,
Yeah,
the thing
It costs about $10,000 to get a mold tooled.
Well, yeah, we looked into that for like steel.
Fuck.
We looked in that for steel molds that were going to be able to survive in an industrial setting. We're yet to look at getting at some aluminium CNC'd, because that's obviously going to be cheaper material. When we were at the factory looking at the steel molds, it was really insane, because the dude's like, okay, this mold's made out of this quality steel, and you touch it and you're like, oh yeah, that's metal, right? And it feels right. It's like,
I
oh,
reckon
this
you
one's
could
made
get
out of this kind of steel, and you touch it and you don't. It's hard to describe how much more metal and hard it was, even though it
I
arguably is
still
the same.
reckon. I still reckon, with a homemade aluminium mold, you could still get a couple hundred or 1,000 at least out of it before it started degrading.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's definitely something that I'd love to experiment with and play around with.
I just think that doing it the blank molds way at the moment is the got the frame, the heat sensitive silicon. I mean, heat resistant silicon poured into it.
Yep.
Just doing a 2-part mold that way. I think that's one of the ways we're going to experiment when we get our.
I think that's definitely the way to go for short runs, especially if you just want to get away with 20
The thing that I have trouble with, and I find really what's the word? The thing that I'm worried about, and so it kind of stops me from doing things. What's the word for that? God.
Anxious?
Yeah, anxious, and yeah.
Anxiety.
Is that I'm not up on I want to make articulated figures, even Kenner level, like a 5-point thing, right? Because I'm just not super. I don't want to make
Well,
statues. So
I'll tell you what. Liam.
Yeah.
I have a box. Full
Joints.
of joints.
Yeah, no, like I know that.
Well,
too,
I
but
still have
Mate,
no.
don't get arrested.
Mate, we can't be doing
I still
drugs
have no
on stream,
project
right?
for these.
I don't want to like make a figure that I then have to plug pre-bought molds into.
You want to make your own.
And like
have
I
your
know
own.
that pre-made joints. Like, and I know that I can
Yeah.
like mold off those joints. But then when we're dealing with like silicon and then like okay, so if we're dealing with silicon where we're going to be injecting ABS or recycled into, like at least silicon's like a lower barrier of entry. But the idea of like paying up like hundreds of dollars to get like a metal mold made and then finding out that like between how the mold is getting CNC'd and then how the product gets brought out, like isn't like if the joints are going to be too loose, like I know it's just something you'd like, oh, you'll just deal with it, but like it's like it's
No. You're a perfectionist, we know.
yeah,
But yes, but you know what? If you're gonna make
intimidates
something like joints, and you're looking at creating a toy that is articulated, it needs to be perfect because you don't want it to end up like something that after a month or two. And these are things. Articulated toys are built to be played with
and like
or posed.
I'm okay with it being
right?
like
So you
this,
wanna do
where
it properly.
this is like one of the worst toys I love. So this is Baron Dark, and he cannot stand up. Like he like I've got a NECA base on him now.
Have you tried the nail polish trick?
Oh, it's not about
No,
nail
it's a
polish.
design thing.
It's a design thing.
Those whole
He's-
things were
it's a
designed
design thing.
for aesthetic over functionality.
Like you in this line you can get a horse and you can get a bike for these guys, and he cannot ride them.
I've got the fucking horse over in my box over here.
Hey,
Dude,
hey,
it's on my list of things to get. It's just it's so cool. It's so
I'll give
cool.
it to you,
It's
man.
just
I'll give you my horse.
what?
I'll give you my horse.
All it'll cost me is all future War Dukes
It's
that I
missing.
ever come across.
No, it's missing. It's missing like every accessory you could put on it. But yeah,
I don't
my
know, I'm
girlfriend
kind of
will
at the
be
stage
happy
of,
that I'm giving away a toy. To be fair.
I'm kind of like with these guys buying the plan is to buy all on card to make because I want to open them.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And like it's a way to guarantee that they're
This one is
super nice.
definitely ready for play. It's
Well,
like
it would be a cool one to have at the
100%
studio.
from the 90s. Mine.
yeah, but yeah, so I'm okay with them if they don't stand or if they do things because there's like I do want to the eventual evolution of the articulated toys is to start with a reaction style like a Kenner sort of thing.
Well-
Maybe even get sassy into like a G.I. Joe with like twisting elbows and whatnot. But
That's
definitely I
kind
want to
of-
move into like the Playmates area.
Well, that's kind of like the leech ant that Herbie has in front of him. That's
Yep.
got 2 points of articulation.
Now with a friend.
Right?
Trying to get a friend for the weekend.
Does his
She's gone good. But it's got like it's the articulated, but it's like arbitrary articulation. But I know that feeling of just being like, I want it to be able to move to some extent.
yeah
So like the arms move on it, like, but the way I
if it's
joined
gonna
it,
stay in the packet, I want to know that it's a functional item.
yeah, and like it doesn't matter if it's just like literally just like what, you know, like
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
there's something nice about knowing that those arms can move. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
No,
But
well, it's
but
the
You
same-
don't need to move them, but you
It-
know that they move.
It's the
so
same thing
therefore-
with the with some of the VAG figures. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, oh look, he's like that now. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
But by the same token, I'm very happy to own a piece that doesn't move at all. I don't.
Same.
If that's what the artist intended, I don't mind. Like that's.
Guys,
If it looks cool,
I think I gotta split.
I
I've gotta put the kid to sleep.
okay.
Good night, Zadie.
Oh,
So-
good.
Night, Sadie.
So you tip though.
Can I show you guys what I did today?
Yes, absolutely. Let's get zoomed in.
Back to the cats versus dogs. I'm a dog.
yeah, I think
Nice. They look so good, dude.
that was fun.
That's
Bernard.
good.
That's my Saint Bernard with Fishman in the back. Merman, sorry.
Ha ha.
We
Right.
need to get like a central. We need to use the "This Is Not a Toy Scene" Instagram for posting any.
I reckon.
Stuff
I
for
reckon
this.
Chipter.
Or-
This one could be ridden too.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Faker riding my Labrador,
That's so good.
and this is my Dalmatian, and that is being ridden by
Scareglow.
Scarecrow, who is glow in the dark.
Did you say glow in the dark?
Yeah, Andrew, and they brought out 2 versions of the Master of the Universe Revelations figure of him, and they both glow.
Anyway, see you guys.
And the Origins figure. See ya.
Catch you later, Chip Man.
See you, man.
Peace.
See, one of the things I love about this whole making toys thing is that there's like this DIY. It's like a punk rock art form in a way. You know, like we're making these toys ourselves in our garages and our kitchen tables or whatever.
Mm.
You know, and that appeals to me, and that's kind of what appeals to me about Sofubi as well, is you know that there's some old Japanese man, you know, who's like got a cigarette hanging out his mouth and he's pulling it out with tongs, and then he's sending it back to the artist, and they're actually painting it with a paintbrush, you know.
Yes.
If you want to make toys at that level that you're talking about, Liam, you're talking about like next level manufacturing, though, right?
It's not DOI anymore.
I could look at some of the videos online of people doing the desktop injection molding. I think it looks like, from what I've seen of how they do it, it is actually much more accessible. The machines, like there's a guy who's got a video online that teaches you how to make a desktop injection molding machine for $200, and it doesn't look that hard, to be honest.
Yeah, we found cheaper options. Like, so there's I guess they're an international group called Precious Plastics that have different subsidies across the globe, and they're all about creating machines that recycle plastic and that then can turn it into like ABS for like your FDM printers. You know, the tube printers, you know, those ones, and stuff. And they do an injection mold machine that was a lot cheaper, but they build it from scratch, and they do a whole bunch of other like upgrades and everything. But it was just like the way they clamped their molds in was really weird. Like they screwed them onto the bottom of like the nozzle and stuff, and like it just all that. And we were like, get those. But the one we're looking at has like it has mold casings that can go this big at least, right? And like I know a lot. We're yet to like examine like how much you can actually pump through the machine, which we're going to basically have to just like fill it full, heat it up, and just like pull the lever until it stops coming out, right?
Yeah.
To judge it. But you know, like if I get to a point where I can make a thing where I get to have like a mold, one for his head and one for his arm and stuff like that, I still, you know, would be able really like to just like pump them out myself if I can. But because like I'm kind of messy. Like I'm really sketchy in my drawings and stuff, and it's like it's what I hate. Like I crave cleanliness. Like I crave clean lines and things, and I know I'm not that. So like, and that comes into like, well, like before we were talking about the King Corpse and stuff like that, with me doing that, like I understand that it's kind of a bit me being really picky and stuff, and a lot of that's a reflection of me, right? It's like I'm this Australian dude who has no.
I don't think picky is the right word.
Kind of. Well, okay, so I generally feel like in order to have like a direction, I need to dislike things so that I can like things more. Do you know what I mean? And I always get worried when talking to people that are like, oh, I like every music. You know, like everyone's met someone like that. And you're like, oh, what do you like? Oh, I listen to everything. And it's kind of like, oh, so you listen to. Sometimes it kind of sounds like you listen to nothing. In a way.
Look,
like
but it's arbitrary, right? Like, so when I'm painting on a wall, I'm extremely anal about my line work. Like, I'll sit there for ages trying to get everything right, etc., etc. When it comes to toys, I mean, I like things smooth and doing all that, like, you know, but I like that in my paintings, no matter what I do, there'll always be imperfections, right? And I love a toy, when I pick up a toy, that there will always be some imperfections, because to me, that says to me straight away, this is handmade.
Same.
right?
Right, like the bubbles in the plate.
And
from
I
Fight
guess that's
Club.
why, like, I love doing 3D printing of 3D modeling, and I think that it's just as valid creatively because it's still handmade, but it's not an obvious handmade thing. Like, if you're 3D printing something and then casting it in resin and all that, it's still handmade, but it's so clean and so perfect and so that sometimes I'm like, there's something missing, right? Like, I just like artwork that has slight imperfections in it, I guess, you know?
Okay.
And I guess that's the difference between sort of what is an art toy that's sort of made more DIY and what is an art toy that's like manufactured. What is the goal? What is the purpose of that process? For some people, it's, I mean, like an illustration. For some people, it's about the mark making process, to be able to see the impressions that you're literally making. Like, there's so many, even Sofubis that I've seen, or vinyl toys that I've seen that are like immaculate makeups of these monstrous creations, where you're seeing, like, you know, skin torn from bone, from flesh, and or these monsters with so many high level textures, in the same way that, you know, coming from that place of people who like are monster makeup artists, and they're always like reveling in that texture of gore and viscera. And those in and of themselves rely on that sort of mark making process that comes from the sculptural engagement with the media. Whereas I feel like so much of the new generation of toys, which are 3D generated, then they have like CNC routed molds, and then they're popped out from those CNC routed molds. Like, they're so clean, they're almost entirely conceptual. They're very devoid of that mark making process. And even though you are engaging in a mark making process where you're making those things three-dimensionally, the smoothness, the inherent smoothness and quality of those figures sort of can often be seen as something that is not art, but is in fact design. So I guess the question that my statement is positing is, where does that deviate? Where is it no longer toy art, instead toy design?
Yeah.
Then we're delving into the difference between art and design.
Kind of, yeah. But like, the other thing is that you're also choosing at what point the thing is and is not art. Like okay, it's like character design, granted, does say design, but there is a thing in that, right? Like the concept of trying to create a figure that speaks of what its intentions are. Like
I don't see art and design as two different things. I see design as a subset of art.
I meant by giving the fact that it says that I called it character design, it firmly seats it on one side of the argument versus the other.
It's still art. Like, art is a big thing, right? And I see art as the mothership of all of these things, right? Art is that. Graphic design, character design, all these things, they all fall under the umbrella of art because they're all being created by an imagination. They're all being created by, you know, something. There's different ways they're permutating by the basis of design can be replicable, or it's for a specific purpose, right? Design is often validated by, there is a specific purpose to this. Art doesn't need high art doesn't need a purpose. It just is. Whereas design, often there is a purpose behind it. There is a design behind it. It's inherent in the word design, right? So I don't see them as mutually clashing things. I see them as completely exclusive. They are the same thing. It's just different degrees and different ways in which people are implementing them. So when I talk about like, you know, okay, things are so clean and all that kind of thing, I'm not saying that invalidates it as an artwork, because I've seen some beautiful shit that's created modeling, 3D modeling, printed out on 3D printer, done. I have a 3D printer, you know, like I don't see it like that. But aesthetically, for me, maybe I just like a world where nothing's perfect, you know? Even though we strive for that perfection, that I like to see something that it's like, you know, I know a dude spent shitload of fucking time on doing this, and he still didn't get it perfect. And you know what's going to happen then? The next piece he does, he's going to try to make it just that little bit more perfect.
So that's kind of what
it's chasing it, right?
Yeah, but that's kind of what I was getting at, is that you see the imperfection in the physical manifestation of the item, of its marks and of its sculpting and whatnot, like that, as opposed to that same level in the design of the figure, of like of its not necessarily even its color choice. It's about like what bits are rounder than other pieces, like the choice of like whether how the face is round here and it goes flat here across the nose, like those aesthetic choices. There's like a level of like in that as well about whether things are perfect and whether things are rough or like whether that's where
completely
character comes.
subjective, though. You know, I'm old enough to remember having very similar conversations about music when people very first started making music just with computers.
Like Gary Newman.
No, just with computers. Like I'm talking about full-on, just software-based music.
Right.
Like
Okay.
Aphex Twin.
Yeah, and there was very similar conversations like, you know, it's not real music, like, you know,
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. It's just it's weird to see it coming around again.
Mm.
The same debate.
I mean, it always will, right?
It is an
Yeah.
aesthetic choice, though. You're making an aesthetic choice if you're making something in a virtual format. It's an aesthetic choice that more people have more access to make things smooth, round, picture perfect without. I mean, there's
Painterly.
there are artists who have tried so hard to do that for so long. I think Philip Sabolta, or the guy who made the Squiddies, he spent many years working on the one toy because he's constantly mastering and sanding and sanding and mastering and polishing and polishing and sanding and polishing. It's to the point where it's less of a fucking toy and more of a piece of jewelry in the finish that he's gotten on it, because it is so shiny and so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's definitely much easier to achieve that kind of finish when you're starting from a 3D print, because I mean, it's simply, if you're looking at, like, even when I'm working on this lady right now, you're like, as soon as I get to the points where you're in between the grooves and the lines, there's so many more marks that are being made sort of around those areas, because you just have to get finer and finer tools to get deeper and deeper to try and get rid of those lines that are made, the sort of mark making pieces. I don't know, and you can get, there are ways you can get rid of them, like, you know, with acetone and bits and pieces, but once you've cast it, there are imperfections that you still need to work on. You need to sand it and master it and then recast it and then technically resand it or remaster it like several times, unless but that's a choice, because you don't have to do that. So here's an amazing anecdote to sort of get this point across, and it's not saying that, you know, one thing is better than the other, but this sort of shows the other side of me when I was coming from like a younger source. And I have a friend of mine, or a person I used to work with and work for, who was a professional practicing artist, and when we'd first kind of met each other and we'd worked together sort of just on a corporate thing, and then we sat together in his workshop and we said, hey, let's just make a sculpture of each other. I'll make a sculpture of you, you make a sculpture of me in kind of wax. And I was going for this like super finished toy anime sort of look, and I sort of got my form up pretty quickly and got all the figures in, but then I was starting to work it down to a smooth finish, and he got one of these tools, which is a wax file, and he just got the basic form and then roughly finished the whole thing with this file, and it was still covered with all these sort of like these marks and these scratches, and he said, I'm finished. And I'm like, what? I was so incensed. I was like looking at him, like, that's not finished. It's not fucking finished. It's just like, it's a fucking sketch. And I was actually kind of upset. But then later, you know, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, actually, you know, that's where is finished? Where is finished for you? And I think you're right, Fletch. Like, absolutely. Like, there's a point where all design can be art, and all art can, you know, technically do design, and there can be applied sort of functionality. But there's a lot of design that isn't functional as well. And I guess, but it can be aesthetically beautiful or amazing. And I think like design stage and the whole lowbrow argument as well. It's like, well, what am I doing with this painting? It's not saying anything specifically. It's not doing anything. If anything, it's getting closer to surrealism in what it is. But that's something that's so long past. So much of art is defined by its theory, right? Where it's like, I am going into this, I'm putting myself in time, in a place, in context of everything that's come before, and doing something that's theoretically unique and may sort of influence things that come after, but I understand the place in which this thing I was am creating exists and its relevance to everything else that has been created. And the lowbrow scene is like divorcing from that, and it's just like saying, hey, I'm just going to fucking make something because I like it, and you better like it too.
Yeah.
Well, they're not thinking about so much, right? Like, lowbrow's not thinking about what you're doing. It's just, I'm going to make it and fucking like it or don't like it, whatever.
I've just got a comment here in chat from someone I think you know, Herbie.
Matt Lee.
Yeah, so Matt Lee says, one thing I've seen some miniature companies do is use a 3D printer to same grade. Yeah, the same grade used for like dental fillings.
Yeah.
This is then used for a master with the Siocast machine.
Yeah, so this is when, like, most miniature companies, and this is what I was talking about to you guys last week as well about miniatures, is the same thing. Whereas I made some miniatures, I did them manually, I sent them off, they got high quality photograph, they sent the photographs back to me, and I'm like, whoa, I'm seeing these at 100 magnification, and I need to work on them extensively more before I actually print them and send them back to you or put them to sale. And that's because when they're making the originals, they do 3D sculpt them for the most part, and when
you've seen the Warhammer 40k shit that's coming out now,
and
like,
when they
insane.
advertise the model, they don't show you the cast of the model. They show you either the finished painted model or they show you the render,
painted and cleaned.
Yeah. And that's exactly the process they go through, where they make the original and then cast off that. But they're not just casting off that. They're doing the process that a lot of people do, which is they take the model and then they send it away to people who then create the mold, and then the mold is machined.
Yeah, which is like pretty common for toy companies these days, right?
That's right.
One thing I found really interesting was that Wizards of the Coast, who are owned by Hasbro,
outsource their toys
to NECA for the miniatures. So
yeah,
NECA produced their miniatures.
I know. That's so weird.
So I was talking to a friend who he does a lot of Magic the Gathering stuff. So he was doing like commentary stuff for their like Pro Tour and all that sort of stuff. And I asked him, like, why does Hasbro outsource to another toy company to make their toys? And they said it's cheaper because NECA have the tooling set up for making miniatures and Hasbro don't.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So let me show you something else that computers have done, and it's not so much to do with the mold making and the sculpting process, but it's to do with the actual injection process. So now when they're making a sprue, like a model sprue, when they're injecting it, so a lot of sprues used to look more like this, right? So the more straight lines, more figures kind of compartmentalized in their separate sections, very straight up and down. And then they started using more advanced computer programs to save money at time. And now all the molds look like this.
They're all
they are
wibbly wobbly. Is that a Wizard? Chaos. Is that a 40k?
This is a it's a Games Workshop. This one's probably about 5 years old, maybe older. But this one is like about 10 years old.
Yeah. So apparently, also, just sorry to interject, but apparently Bandai had the patent on injection molding with the sprues, different colors on a single.
Yeah.
Oh, for having the notations of where, like for Gundam.
Yeah, for Gunpla. So on a single set and a single sprue set, you've got multiple colors going on.
I'm just saying, they're real proud of that one, multicolor sprues. I got some kits around, but I don't think I have any that have that.
But it's helpful. I might have.
I think I've got one.
No, I don't have multicolor sprues.
I had one in Japan when I was in Japan, but I made it into an actual toy. Which is in a box.
I own several Gunpla and I've not made a single one into the actual toy. I've pulled them apart.
I've made one Gunpla, and that was while I was in Japan. It was me and my friend Callum, the one who came and asked us his ass legs before. Whether it was
they've all been disassembled and turned into shit.
Yeah, so we went to like a Gunpla, not a museum or whatever, and they had like a planetarium dome,
Oh,
But it was like,
dude, you're talking about Gundam Front, or it's called
Yes.
Gundam Base now. Yeah, dude,
yes,
that's
which
awesome.
was great.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was like-
yeah.
It was the most ridiculous, like going to a planetarium, but instead of being like, "Oh, fuck this nerd shit, fuck this like space shit, let's put fucking big robots in it."
Yeah, dude, it kicks ass, man. We went there when they were just
I
about
have
to
not
close,
been
and then
there.
my partner and I were the only two people inside the dome sort of thing, and they played them all for us, and it was so
Missed
cool.
Japan so
good.
much.
And then there's like the exclusive clear set that you can only buy there.
Yeah, they were taking
yeah.
that by the month. Yeah, there's always different ones.
Mm.
I miss Japan so much.
Me
One-
too, man.
So like a year, I'm like a year ago, like two years ago, I had to be out of the apartment for like the whole day, and like I was just like
How
I
did you
didn't.
feel about that,
I
Liam?
wouldn't let you do that now.
Yeah, I know. I didn't feel super great about that, but basically I couldn't come back until like 8 o'clock at night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know, I'm pretty antisocial, so I didn't like want to call anyone or hang out or anything. I just like I'll just figure it out. And then like it was about 1 o'clock, and I was just walking around and went to Metro Hobbies, and they had this kit that I heard a lot of people really liking for Gundam Moon or Moon Gundam. This is
Sailor Gundam Moon.
yeah, it's got this like really cool like crescent moon like funnel rig on his back that looks like a crescent moon. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy this and build it. So I built that, and then I went to Daiso and bought like a $1.80 pair of like clippers, and then just sat around in Melbourne Central.
That's cool.
And I built it, and like I was, you know, the bit that connects between like the Emporium and Melbourne Central, where they kind of got some plants and seats. Like
Yes.
I was there until they kicked me out, and then I went down to another section, and I was building there until they kicked me out. And then every time I moved further and further down through the building.
And then you're just on the under the clocks at Flinders Street Station.
Under the bridge.
I was chilling around like where that where that little eatery setup they
Anyways.
were. But yeah, it was really cool just sitting around in the CBD, just like building a model kit. Like it was actually really fun.
Yeah.
So while we've been talking, I'm just going to show you what I've been working on. So this is a piece, and now I need to go through both cameras. This is a Mumbot piece
Oh yeah, nice.
that I got from Taiwan. She was in the booth across from us when we were at Taipei Toy Festival, and she gave me a blank, and it's been sitting there on my shelf, and I haven't done anything with it, so now I'm customizing it.
Cool.
I don't know if you can see it
Yeah, it's very cool.
with all the spikes and stuff.
I've
like
been
spikes.
very unproductive tonight, by the way. AJ, can you show us all the all of the casts you've pulled tonight? Got like 7?
Oh yeah,
6,
how
7?
many pieces have you done?
Ooh, pretty.
Also, I'm loving that I can zoom in on people. I know the quality is not incredible, but
Spikey
They're pretty cool.
shiny.
those are good.
So that was about
6,
that was
8.
Yeah, 8. And I'll probably do maybe another 8 or so in clear.
Mhm.
I've kind of found a lane that's working for me at the moment with
This
pulling about 10 to 15 per sculpt I make.
mhm.
Sure.
And then I can kind of comfortably move those most of the time, and then that kind of just pays for the materials, and then I
Yeah.
move on. Because I get
Once you get into a groove with the 660, I think once you get into a groove with that quick set stuff, like you can pump out quite a few in a night.
Is it transparent? It must be,
No.
right?
these ones.
Yeah. No. Okay. So it's opaque, like Easy Cast.
Yeah, it's easy cast. Yeah, so I'll probably do some transparent ones, which I can do some glows and other stuff like that. But yeah, like I get bored pretty quickly. Like I know you guys were talking before about like people like Philip, or like some of the Japanese artists are really good at like creating a character and then just like
Making
living
infinite
with that
variations.
character for their whole life. You know what I mean? It's just not my lane at all. Like I just get bored. I just get bored with stuff. Like 10, 15 is good enough. I get them out there, move on to the next thing. Seems
Yeah, I've figured mine now is 20. I do 20 and I'm like, yep, okay, next.
that's enough. Yeah.
I have
20.
yeah, 20 I think. It's usually my thing for resin, yeah.
I mean, like I appreciate artists that do the whole like character work, and they do the in-depth character work. Like I have a lot of those here in my
Yeah.
collection, but I just get for me as an artist, I get too bored. Yeah.
Me too. I love the sculpting, and I love the casting. I fucking hate the painting.
Yeah.
I'm a bad.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible painter.
I was
Like all my stuff is so basic. Like I want to be better, but I really just want somebody to paint them for me.
like
I love painting.
You know,
but
like
I don't think I did like a bang up job on this.
I want an
but, like,
intern.
I was so surprised that I didn't do a shit job. Like I haven't painted in I've never really painted very good much stuff. So
It's so
like,
weird though, man. I love painting walls and shit. Like I love painting in general, but when it comes to toys, I fucking hate painting them.
It's
not that I hate
completely
painting them.
different
It's
skill.
just
Like 2D painting to 3D painting they are
totally
completely
different.
different skills.
yeah, and I'm just not good at it.
It's
find
barely
some-
transferable.
when I'm working in Photoshop, I find something really soothing about like trying to like fill in colors where like I draw the outline around like like a shirt or something like that, and then I fill it in. It's like like it feels really good to me. Like I know there's all like I can use like the magic wand, select like the shirt area, then like expand, then smooth or whatever to like make it easier. But it's just like I'll just manually go over that and like fill that in. It's just it feels so good.
For me, I don't have a huge separation between 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional. I find I can draw most things I can make, and make most things I can draw. And because I have such a background in like obviously warhams and like wargaming and miniatures, I've spent like that's how I learned to paint. Is painting miniatures, and then later like I learned to paint 2-dimensional stuff more, and a lot of the techniques that I learned from painting Warhammer stuff eventually lend themselves into painting 2-dimensional objects, like just building up those layers, which is obviously why the first things I started making toy-wise were wargaming miniatures. I think I'll show you the first one I ever made was behind the curtain, behind my green screen. There's actually just a wall of wargaming miniatures.
Oh yeah, I have my first toy I ever made.
Here you go. This is the first miniature I ever made. Let's see if I can get some focus. It's probably hard to see because it's tiny.
Was that sculpted from
It's like-
scratch,
it's like a-
or was it kit bashed, or?
No, so this
Not
is
thorax.
sculpted. This one's sculpted out of. There are like two parts on it. So like the sword is a Games Workshop guy, but the body and the head and the arms and the legs and everything, they were all, and the gun on this side. I sculpted all of those out of jewelry wax to start with.
I just love hearing about people's processes, and that like it varies and it's different. That's what really gets me fucking going. Like just hearing
I'll show
about
you-
the way people do shit.
I'll show you the first toy I ever made. What the fuck was I thinking? Look how big this thing is, right? Okay, like, so I didn't know what I was doing. This first toy I ever made. Okay, and
Have you tried?
like,
Have you
basically-
casted it?
I casted. Okay, the story is yes, I did. I made a mold. The first mold I made, I didn't pay really attention to the silicon, and I started pouring it, and it just there was so much silicon because it's a big toy
Yeah.
that halfway through pouring it started solidifying, and I wasted so much silicon on it, man. But I did do a mold of it. I don't think I have any left that are actually cast. Oh yeah, I do actually. But, you know, I never did anything with them, but I cast them.
That looks so much like a Factor art
Yeah.
artwork though. Like,
And then I went a total different direction, right? Like and then now I've come back like this with this one,
Hey.
right? And I kind of
Yeah.
came back and I'm like, well, I want to do it again, but smaller. But I'd love to actually like I still have the mold of this and I haven't done anything with it, but I'd actually like to come back and maybe redo it and redesign it and stuff. But I like this one because I always wanted to do one of these things. But yeah, it was and that was a labor of love. That took me like Sculpey, like that took me months
Yeah.
to make, you know.
It's cool, man. I'm glad you moved on and like did a second toy. I know so many people who have just stopped, like they've tried to make something and they've got this one model they never finished and perfected just sitting on their shelves and they never made anything else, you know?
That was the second one.
Yeah, right.
That was the second one that I did. But before, I didn't do any finishing on them or anything like that. I just cast them like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a whole bunch of these. Like I didn't like prime, didn't
I think
didn't like smooth them or anything like that. You know.
That's a total like learning experience though, because you make it
Yeah.
right and you realize what doesn't work. Like the first like toy I made in terms of like cast was like a little like a cactus man, and the way I sculpted it was like the classic like just push some clay onto a piece, like bam. And I was getting like bubbles under this, like the mouth of it. It was like it was a real cartoony kind of cactus dude. And I learned a lot just from seeing like, okay, so doing this doesn't work in terms of a concise like mold. Like, okay, here are the issues.
Molding
and
something
that's
is so
super
much
interesting.
different, so far removed from sculpting it,
Yeah, totally. Because like you can
That's
make something out of epoxy sculpt or polymer clay or something, and you don't have to worry about any of that shit. You just can go, all right, I'm going to make a toy. I was going to make something, and here it is. It's done. Here's the thing I've made. And then just you make it, it's done. You move away. But as soon as you want to replicate it, it's a completely different ball game. It's interesting. I find that whole
three
process
skills,
interesting.
right? There's three. In order to produce a toy, you have to master 3 skills: sculpting, casting, and painting. And they're the 3 fundamental things. And they're also very different to each other.
But that's not true.
Yeah.
Because,
You don't think that?
no,
You don't think so?
because there are so many toy artists I met when I was in the States. I said this last week as well, who literally just find someone and they're like, man, I had this cool idea for a toy. Can you draw a design for me? And the person draws a design based on what they've said, and they take the design to a sculptor and they say, man, can you fucking sculpt this sick design I had my friend do for me? And then they take that and get somebody else to like mold it and cast it. Like, they're not doing anything. And they are by your definition, as we discussed earlier, artists. They're toy artists.
And I
true.
agree with that 100%. And that's like similar to the way kind of Liam does. Like you don't you do 3D sculpting, but you don't do like traditional sculpting.
No, I don't. No, 'cause I couldn't deal with doing. It made me too anxious and stuff to do that one.
I think for me, it's about the process, and I love the process.
Like-
I love the process. So I think for me, like learning all that, and I'm an information and knowledge sink, So I like to just learn the process. So I have nothing opposed to doing that, because I'd love to do that, especially if I want to do some like really full-on detailed stuff that is way beyond my capability. I want to get somebody to model what's in my head.
Like,
If
I can just draw stuff and find the right people to sculpt and then produce it for me, and like with the idea that I'm like covering everything and overseeing producing it in that sense,
that's the problem.
That's all I want to do. Like,
That's
if I can
when
just
the
draw
eye
it,
comes in,
design
right?
it,
That's the
and
problem.
guide it, that's it.
But I mean, here's the other aspect, right?
Yeah.
Like I couldn't draw exactly what I want from my head, and I would never ever in my life draw or design something like this.
No, but
It would never happen.
That's
It's spontaneous, and I just make it up as I go along.
sure, but then you get like interesting artists like what's her name, Rachel Whitehead, who like it's like conceptual art compared to like just you can still be an artist without like physically making
absolutely.
something.
Yeah. I'm not saying at all it invalidates. As I said, like it's all valid artwork.
Yeah.
I'm saying for myself.
Yeah.
And there's so many different avenues and approaches to getting that finished product, and I think they're all equally valid.
Yeah, totally.
Look, I totally agree. Also, Fletch, like I as much as I like love drawing, and I said I can draw what I make and make what I draw, or vice versa. Like I had no idea what I was going to make when I started this sculpture today. I just and that's one of the things I love about sculpting is it's a visual sketch for me. I love like creating something in 3 dimensions that is its own thing, and I like looking at an object or looking at a lump of clay is like a blank canvas. You don't need a sketchbook. You don't need to design it. You can just go in and make something. And this is totally like fantasy art and lo-fi. What am I doing? I'm making a fucking dryad / Monster Girl, and what is that? That's, if anything, it's closer to like so much anime and hentai than it is to like art. It would have been art if I was like fucking in rural Australia in the early 1900s. Right?
But computer 3D modeling is the same. It doesn't have to be physical. It can be digital as well.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. Like,
That's right.
Computer 3D modeler, you're sitting down. If you're not working from like turns and stuff like that, and specifically you're just sitting in front of the computer modeling, going, okay, I'm going to build something. Like, it's exactly the same.
That is exactly the same. It's just another media for sure.
The way like you guys are talking about a lot of stuff is like, especially like Fletch, when you're like the three components of it. Like, I know that you guys operate from an aspect of like, oh, I'm going to make something, and you start like working at it. Like, that is so anti towards any process I have for any avenue, whether it's like doing a poster or designing a toy or whatever like that. It's like for toys particularly, I need to be able to have a clear idea of not the purpose of it as an artwork, as a design. Like, I need it to look like it can live. And if it's not going to tell me a story, if I can't look at this and go, look at this derpy devil boy. I know exactly what adventures this dude's going to get up to. I know what he's going to do. Like, I know what life this guy lived, mostly because he's me. Like, it's me. Like, I get that. Like, this guy is a hero. Like, he's a hero, and like knowing something about the media definitely helps. But like, you don't need to know who Mobius is to know that this dude's he's a hero. Yeah. Like, and that's so important to me that like I can pick some direction and work on it and sketch at it and like play with it and stuff like that, and that's fine. But like, it's just like, I need it to know that it has a thing, and then when people look at it, even if it's not the same thing, like friend or foe, like, I don't care. He's a skeleton dude. There's other skulls on him as trinkets. And it's just like, he has a life. Like, he will do a thing. And you can imagine it, whether it's something like poetic or it's going to be like Red King jumping up and down like an idiot. Because all Red Kings are women, which is the best part about Red King.
I think part of it is just that it's different for everyone, which is kind of the appeal.
And I'm not trying to like...
which is why I love you guys.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like supersede mine or anything. Like, I just think it's really funny that like you and Herbie haven't, like, when you're talking about the thing, like, nothing, and it's not like, I'm not saying you don't think about it or that it's not important to you at all. It's just that when you're talking about your process, you don't mention, like, and especially because if you're just like jamming on a piece, right? If you're just like, I'm going to sculpt and see what happens, that's totally cool. It's not what I'm talking about. But like, the objective of like, this has to do something, especially for like a wargaming miniature, right? Like, you're gonna do a murder orc. Like, your orc best look like the murder, right?
Well, look,
like, it's
that's the other extreme end of this scale, right? Is when Andrew was showing you that dog that I made before, like the Lord of Barkness,
right?
The giant dog, like. That was
awesome. Sorry.
Yeah. That was
still awesome.
Yeah, that was like, I made that because I was like, I like created a story, and we'd run like this, like, 6-episode like YouTube series, and the culmination of that was this character who was this ghost dog that stalked out of the woods, and that's like scale to the miniatures, right? So that's like as big as a small house to that. Yeah. And for me, like, that was like, it's absolutely a design process. It absolutely has to be something. It absolutely has to come out and come to life and
exist
tell
in
a
that
story.
world. Yeah.
Like, it's a motive. It looks like a thing.
But for something like this is just a visual sketch for me. And like a lot of people say, this is a warm up, right? I'm just going in here. I'm spending a couple hours reminding myself of what it's like to handle the medium, to physically be there 3-dimensionally holding it. And I might not even finish this, but you know what I will do? I'll be inspired to make another little dice charm, like another one of these guys, to sort of like get back on the wagon, because these are something, if I cast and sold this miniature, which I probably will, it'll be available. Come see us at the show. Like, this is going to be
I'll buy that one. 2022.
Yeah. 25 packs. We can finally get out of the house again. But that'll cost more to reproduce than this guy, and I could be happy to sell like this little resin piece that I've made like literally 1,000 of, for like $5 or maybe, you know, or something like that. But this guy, it'd be like, well, I'd need to sell this for at least like $20 or something like that. The good thing about a statuette, and this is going to get me onto another topic, which is fucking pricing. Okay. So this model I can pump out, right? It's a statuette. It doesn't have a lot of it. The flush lines on it are going to be reasonably limited. Okay. It's going to have a flat bottom, so it can be sanded down in the same way that these guys are. I can throw a wash on it, maybe paint a color, or just go straight from this color, like raw material, throw an alcohol wash on it in a blue or a green, say, fuck, it's a dryad. And then suddenly people will feel not cheated about paying like, I don't know, $15, $20 of that out of a bag. But then should I put it in a bag? Like, how much do you charge on that? Time versus pressure. Or, you know, if I painted it and like did like a wargaming paint on it like this guy and like actually sort of went to some detail and spent a couple hours painting it, suddenly I couldn't charge fucking $20 for that anymore, right? Plus it's fiddly. Look at all the work that's gone into like pulling this one out of the mold, by comparison pulling this much larger piece out of the mold. And even though it's losing like a larger amount of stuff, and I spent at least 2 hours painting this guy. So what's the pricing? What do you charge for?
Pricing's a really, just before we hit that, I just want to make an observation on the conversation we were having before.
Yeah, go.
And it's not too cliched, but we are all going to reach the same destination, right? And the destination is that we have a finished toy which tells a story, or which is a piece of art, right? The journeys that we take to get to that point, they are unique to each one of us, and we can all appreciate that for ourselves and for what it gives to us. But we hit that destination, and it's this sense of accomplishment. So I don't think that the journey is all important. It is important because it's important to us individually, but as a greater whole, it's not the aspect that we should focus on. When it comes to pricing, pricing's always fucking hard, man, because you have to look at so many different factors. You have to look at how much time did I do with this? What did the materials cost? Okay, what am I charging myself by the hour to produce these things? What is the market rate? What can I sell this for in lieu of other artists?
Yeah,
and
that's a big one.
when you're doing big festivals and stuff like that, and I'm like so much by going to like Taipei Tele Festival about this kind of stuff, because you don't really have an idea until you get there as to where you're at. And it's like any art, right? And as an artist that's done stuff in galleries and all that kind of stuff, you don't want to devalue yourself. You don't want to devalue your work. You want to say, I am worth this much. But if you overprice yourself, nobody will buy your shit, because nobody knows who you are, or a few people know who you are and they're willing to invest all of that. So there's a sliding scale. Like, you need to work out what it's worth, and you need to say, like, you know what, this toy's worth this much. And for me personally, I'll set a price and I'll say, I think this is worth this much. If it doesn't sell, fuck, it doesn't sell. If it sells, then you're sitting there going, okay, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? In the other instance, it's such a subjective thing. I think you just need to kind of look at what other people are doing and just determine it for yourself. Like, see what the market price is for these things and go, well, am I at market price? And what shifts me above and below that market price average? And I've done spreadsheets. Like, I've actually literally gone through and looked at things that are equivalent and like written out toys and gone, this is how much they're worth, like, etc., etc. This is what the materials are and all that kind of stuff. If I'm charging myself, what am I worth per hour? Am I working like sweatshop rates, $5 an hour? Am I working $10 an hour, $15 an hour? Did I keep track of how much fucking time I spent doing this? How much time did I spend on doing this? So it's so hard. And you're right, Hervey. Like, how do you do it? And the answer is fucking magic. Because, like,
I hate it when you're asking someone like, oh, how much did I like charge for doing like a business card design? They're like, well, how much
magic.
are you worth? And you're like, oh, I'm not worth anything. Like,
yeah, I know, right? It's like,
they're like, well, how much is your time worth? And you're like, You don't understand.
Yeah.
My time is worth nothing.
Yeah.
I am a
That sounds a
sponge
little
that
bit more
sucks
like
up other
you
people's time.
undervaluing
And-
yourself.
Yeah, and I'm happy living here.
That too.
It's-
Don't undervalue.
it's
think
cool
also,
having
like,
a
have a price.
Fletch, it's called having a self-defecating sense of humor.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
I think
about
there's
it.
too much of that in
Self-defecating.
Australia and too much of that in nerd culture.
But like part of it is also like you don't want to undercut other artists, right? Like I don't want to go and like charge
True.
like $1 for a fucking toy, and then have like people who I'm in. I guess like I'm in a position where like
I know, I'm picking AJ drink.
you know like there's people that are like this is their full-time job, you know, like Chip, right? This is what he does
Yeah,
on
it's
a
what he
day-to-day
does,
basis to like pay the fucking bills. So like I don't want to go and, you know, charge like $10 less than him because I've got a full-time job and doing something different. Like fuck that. Like no, I want to be an even playing field, and I want people buying stuff that they like, and you know, and I also want people to be acknowledging, yeah, it's like it's fucking, you know, it's like the value should be there, like the correct value. People, you know, like I don't want people expecting like, oh, this should cost like $5. Like no, it's like materials alone isn't worth $5. But yeah,
I mean, for me, I know what I would pay for stuff, and that's kind of where I kind of just land on things. But the biggest thing for me, I reckon, is that the market here in Australia is just so underdeveloped that it's so hard to shift stuff here. Like
Can't. It's hard.
I barely
You have
sell
to anything
here.
you have to devalue your stuff.
Yeah, you have
put
to.
it
You
at
have
lower
to. And
prices
for me,
because people don't
that's where
understand
the
it.
pressure comes from. It doesn't come from
Yeah.
any of the
Yeah.
other stuff for me. The pressure comes from that people don't know what it is. They
Yeah.
come by, they look at it, and they do think it's worth $5. And it's just out of ignorance, but not like, you know, not like in the true meaning of the word. They just honestly don't know.
yeah.
What, you know,
They don't, and
yeah.
it's education, and that's what we're doing with all of this stuff, right?
That's what
Like,
I want to do with it. Yeah, that's my big
Yeah.
goal.
That's the same. Like that's the same. Like when we're doing all these shows and all that kind of stuff, it's just, you know, I do the YouTube channel. It's all about educating people, but it's educating people in Australia
Yeah.
about what this is. I don't understand how. I don't know. Like we have such a like there's a huge otaku scene here. Like, you know, anime's been a part of, like, it was on SBS and ABC, and like we all grew up with this stuff and all that. How the fuck in Australia did we miss the fucking toy movement? How did I don't
It's a
think we
good
missed it.
question.
It was just,
It's a good question.
How
It jumped
did this
straight
happen?
It jumped straight from $2 store fucking slip molded figurines to fucking pop vinyls. It missed the middle section.
Don't
it
even
did.
get me started
Like
with Funko
I don't
Pops.
think like
Technically, the middle section was bubbleheads. But
I own no Funko Pops and I never will.
but like
that's where the
I've got
Funko
a
money
few
was
good comments
beforehand.
in the chat as well.
Yeah, hit us up.
Yeah, so like Paunch has said, I've never made a toy, and this conversation is wildly fascinating, to listen to. And then Mr. Nick Art has said, best podcast. So thank you.
Nick
Oh,
Art.
nice. Excellent.
Hey, Nika!
Oh, I hit a button. I hit Mad Gorilla button. I'm sorry.
Ooh, Mad Gorillas.
Well, we haven't had any music tonight.
So,
I've got music playing in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
There's
shit.
Thank
Okay,
you,
I
Hugo.
didn't
I got
configure my shit
music
for
that my
yet.
friend Hugo made. I'll link you to it.
Could I get
sorry.
one real quick thing?
Yeah.
So, I should have split like half an hour ago, but we keep talking about stuff, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, it's
Well,
interesting. So I'm in the same boat.
One thing that I kind of want to ask is like, okay, so we're talking about like this toy movement thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
where did it go? Where is that? And like, and then you're also talking about like how, you know, we've got to sell to Australians who don't care. I do not, and I don't think I ever have particularly cared about Australian. I don't feel like it has ever supported me, and I don't think that the things I want to do
That's fair.
can be supported by Australia.
Yeah,
Here's a
that's
question
fair.
for
And
you,
That's
Liam.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Here's a question: Is what you're doing with toys? Are you wanting to sell them, and is your market potentially overseas?
Yeah,
Or
overseas.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty
or
much.
is it like is it one of those things that it's just something you like doing? Like Fletch, like you,
Right.
you are a professional artist, right?
Right.
Like
Okay,
that's,
so I'm making this dude because I just wanted to make him, and
Yeah.
I want to have him, right? And I know that in order to do this, I need it to sell overseas because I don't want it just to be a money sink, and I'd like to be able to make more without the guilt knowing that I'm spending my partner's money. You know what I mean?
I think here's the problem you're going to bump up against if you want your whole market to be overseas.
Well, not
is
whole,
that
yeah.
you're going to have to sell it from Australia to overseas, and that's just gonna
It's a
pump
physical
up.
product, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
look
it's a
at
physical product.
and
That's going to pump up your costs so badly.
I know.
If you want
I
to
know.
sell to the overseas market, you need to have the product being stored where it's being manufactured.
Or cheap,
Yeah,
small,
or
light,
like
dudes, most of
hopefully,
most of my
little
toys
guys.
I've sold. Most of my toys I've sold, honestly, completely honestly, is a Type A Toy Festival. I hardly sell anything here in Australia. I hardly sell anything online. But when it's at a festival like that, people are keen. They're like, yeah. And, you know, like, I had planned last year to go to Thailand, I wanted to go to Shanghai, and I wanted to go to Taiwan. I wanted to do 3. And all of that's gone, right? So now we have Australia, we're in restrictions and lockdown and all that kind of stuff. And I think that when it comes to toys, you need to look at every single market you possibly can. Not just say,
it's not
okay,
like I'm
overseas.
gonna deny it, like stop it, but like it is a point that like it was when we were figuring out how much cost and stuff. There was like take it to Taipei, take it to Superfest, see what happens, right? Like at least cover it. But like there is the hope of being able to get it into like stores like Tenacious Toys or even Toy Chronicle or My Plastic Heart.
3D
or...
Retro.
I never cared about that
Blue
stuff.
Bells.
I've never really cared about that
Well,
stuff, you know?
It's that it's going to keep
Depends
me
what you want.
alive. Is the thing, right? But okay, so the other thing
That's
was
why I don't sell many toys.
the other
You must
the other
have a lot of
question about
toys.
This is about us about skipping things, and this also comes into like how I see where I'm going to get money to live doing this. Is that as far as I know, the biggest, the most famous globally, even though they're not like widely famous, but amongst more people who collect toys know about than any other Australian toy maker, who's probably done the most, is Ashley Wood. And I don't hear shit.
I don't know who Ashley Wood is.
I've even got an Ashwood piece.
Well, he's from Perth.
Yeah.
Who's Ashley Wood?
Yeah.
Tell me about Ashley Wood.
Ashley Wood. Oh man, 3A.
Okay, like
He's the A in 3A.
3A, man.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, 3A is
But
30.
at the same, by the same token, I didn't know that.
He's from Perth,
But
dude.
it's-
Yeah, he's
like-
he's
but
one of the
see,
biggest designer toy artists
if
from
one of
Australia.
those
And that
A's
blows
in
my
the
mind. I've
3As
seen one
is
Ashley Wood
Australian.
painting in my life.
No fucking clue, man.
And as far as I know, I've only had one chance to see an Ashley Wood piece in my life. And I've only seen one, and he's like, as far as I can tell. And then granted, he's the person who got me into designer toys. Like, I just came across his stuff.
I think the beautiful thing
like-
about designer toys is there are no limits, there are no horizons. It is everything that you want it to be. It is art in a consumable form. It is.
But if we want someone to point to,
person.
and if we want someone to rally behind, like we did.
For
Like,
you,
I mean, he's doing
for me,
Underverse now, right?
I
It's
don't know
us,
who Ashley
dude.
Wood is.
People
This
can
is
rally with
literally the
us.
first
No,
time.
Hopefully they can, but the fact is that we're wondering like where this was, like where's this thing that should have happened? It did happen. It did happen, and no one in Australia gave a shit.
No. That means it didn't happen.
Yeah.
We
That
could
means
have
if-
because
if
it's a
one
If
guy-
nobody
one
gave
of
it,
the
if nobody
three
gave a
A's
shit, then it
market
didn't happen.
or something.
If one of the 3As is an Australian person, it didn't happen. It's like they are Australian, but it's like if 3A, if 33.33% of 3A is Australian, and like who knew that before you would mention that? I didn't.
Yeah.
That's my problem. Is that
Everyone knows that.
I didn't even know who the guy
If we were
was.
if we were in a toy
Am I
industry,
the only one?
It should have been. We should be like, look, there's the dude who came from, like, granted he came through like an art and comics, right? Like he did the Metal Gear comic,
Yeah.
and Zombies vs Robots is dope.
I
But
fucking
like,
know this guy.
Nothing against
but I don't know how.
those-
I don't know how it's not. I don't know how it's not a bigger thing. He got.
Okay,
he made
well,
a goddamn
well,
Judge Dredd toy.
That's
made
worth
dope
mentioning.
Yeah,
though.
cool.
That's
toys.
worth
And-
mentioning.
and we're okay. Look, and I'm not disparaging. Look, I just see this in the art world a lot, outside of toys and all that kind of stuff. And I don't disparage these people for this and all of that, but where was the advocacy? Where was the support for the local scene? Where was the support for the local artists?
That is also true. I do
Yeah.
wonder. that.
He
you know, like
pissed off to
if you
America as
rise,
soon as
if
he
you
had the
rise,
chance,
if
yeah.
you rise, if you rise, you should throw things back, and I don't know. Maybe he did, and he just got frustrated or anything like that. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
but
fucking chat with him.
it's just so weird that
I
it's
think
weird.
that
like,
it's
there and
easy
it isn't.
to be an artist who's interested in a particular thing, who does a particular thing.
And nobody cares in
No,
your country.
it's not that nobody cares. It's just that people in that industry internationally care. And the fact is, particularly someone like that, who is a comic artist, who is designing toys,
True.
is doing stuff. And also like Fletch and myself, like, until this thing happened where Chipta came to Australia and is like, why isn't there a toy scene here?
Mhm.
I was like, I didn't know any
Exactly.
other fucking toy artists.
Well,
I literally
Yep.
did not. I was just some guy.
Yep.
All of my friends were artists. I have exhibitions sometimes with friends, and like I exhibit shit, but I wouldn't exhibit toys. That's just not.
I mean, I knew artists because I lived overseas in Asia, but that's the only reason why. And when I came back here, I'm like, I fucking knew nobody. I was sitting in a studio for like 2-3 years making toys and
yeah.
basically just making toys. I went out to Taipei by myself. I didn't know a single person that made toys or anything like that. I put shit in a box and I went there, and it was the biggest fucking like, I don't even know how to explain culture shock or anything like that. It's like the biggest like, oh fuck, by the way, this is actually what it's all about. And I was so unprepared, and I just jumped on a plane and I went and fucking did it.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing here that had prepared me for that experience.
Oh.
And I tell you what, 2017 Taipei Toy Festival, that was a fucking eye-opener.
Look,
because
even not as a
I knew
participant,
nobody. I knew
but, like,
nobody did it.
as somebody
even in
who's
Australia.
even just somebody wandering into like New York Comic Con, I felt exactly the same way. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that if I'm talking to somebody and I'm saying, oh yeah, I'm an artist. If I say that and I'm not presenting all of my professional credentials and have them available in front of me, like I was just there for a fucking holiday, going, yeah, cool, I'm an artist. And they're like, cool, show me all your stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I am not prepared for this.
Yes, exactly.
Not
Because it's not that we're sheltered; it's that we're just not.
Is it
like,
that
We weren't
Is
prepared.
it that it's more insular? Like that the fact that like every time we put on a show, right? So like the first show that I got into was through AJ. Like AJ, I can't quite remember how it went, but AJ messaged me and was like, I don't remember how me and AJ, was it just Instagram?
Yeah, I think we just met on Instagram.
Yeah, and it was like, hey, there's this toy show happening. No, it was, yeah, okay. We'd met on Instagram, and I don't know if we'd met before the first This Is Not a Toy show happened.
Yeah, we did. We hung out a couple of times. I came to your house and we did sculpting.
Yeah, yeah, when I was living at when my mom was overseas and I was living at my mom's house in Preston, I think. Was that right? Anyway, yeah, so like it was just like Instagram, like, oh, here's someone in Australia doing similar, like adjacent stuff to me, and it's different, but it's like close enough and interesting enough, and like I'm engaged with what that person's doing, and I really like what that person's doing. And then just like, yeah, I think Chipta really kicked it off. Like full credit to Chip for like getting it going. Like that show at B-side, like all those people that I've met through that 100% wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Chip. Like,
plus you all came to Sydney.
And then Sydney, but that was after the B-side show.
It was after the B-side show.
And that was after B-side, and that was a huge thing. And like you and JC and like Resin Lung, and like and then like after that as well, the next show in Richmond, like Liam, that was when I first met you as well.
Actually, we met at B-side,
and
but
that
that's
was
cool.
the most.
B-side, we did
that
at the with Matt and yeah.
You
and
weren't
Georgia.
making toys then though.
That was the most
No. I just got a bad breakup with a.
We
bunch of guys
basically
making games.
see.
I was sitting
we
there saying, "Man, you
basically
need to
got
make
together
toys."
and
I
bullied you
remember.
into being a toy maker.
We did, yeah,
we did.
Yeah.
We did. I remember saying to Liam, like, make
If
fucking
we could just repeat
toys.
that process like 1,000 times over.
So I think the big message
I'll
from
tell you
tonight,
what,
to anyone who's still
I'll tell
watching,
you
if
something.
you're not yet a toy
Yes.
maker, go out and become a fucking toy
Make
maker.
fucking toys.
That's the
I'll tell you
toy
Four
I
of
made.
you, and 3 of you are the people who are on the
I
stream.
remember this toy. Guys, I'll tell you what,
You
like
better make
one of the most serendipitous moments of my life was going to STGCC, which is the Singapore Toy Games Comic Convention, and wandering down the aisles, looking at, you know, people doing their anime art and all that kind of stuff, and then rounding the corner, and I see just this dude with these carded figures of, and I'd been to Indonesia quite a few times by that stage, and it's just like mythological Indonesian characters, street cleaners, and I still have them, like the first things that I bought off Chip, and I met him for the first time there. And honestly, it was one of the most serendipitous meetings that I've ever had, and I'll forever be grateful that I actually went and I stopped and talked to him. And just got chatting, and I'm like, yeah, I'm down in Australia. And he's like, oh yeah, oh shit, I might be coming down to Australia some stage. And I'm like, dude, here's my card.
Yeah.
And then
you know,
he
I've got a
lost
studio,
it.
like I've got a studio, and then he fucking lost it. And then he lost it, and he got down. But honestly, like, I wonder how much different things would have been if I hadn't have had that. He would have still come here, and he probably
weird, man.
he would have still, like, because it's Chipta, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
I wish he
And,
was
like,
still in the
he's got that,
chat.
like,
you know?
amazing hustle
And
attitude.
it would still happen, but like, you know, just the shows that we had at Versus, and then B-side with like Ariana and Farron
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff, like,
A+,
you know,
man.
I still like, it's one of the becoming friends with him is one of the greater moments of my toy journey, you know.
I always explain him as
And,
being the dad.
Yeah.
He's the dad.
Yeah. I think, like, it's just
Guys-
so weird that, like, such a small moment, like, I don't remember how AJ and I linked up, but AJ messaged me and said, hey, I went to a toy show. It was great. I chatted with one of the guys who organized it. I'm on board now. Do you want to join? And that was the B-side one. And I was like, fuck yeah, I do. Like, that sounds great. I want to hang out and meet people who are, like, making toys and, like, like-minded individuals to some extent, you know, like, and just, like, the fact that, like, the amount of friends that I've made through that process is just such a good and, like, wholesome and nice experience that it's just, like, I don't care if the fucking shit I make's shit or I don't make much. Like, I've made a whole bunch of friends along the way, and that's as important, if
About
not
the journey.
more so important, than the art I've made. Like, fuck the art. Like, the people are that's what, like, makes it special to me.
I love our community, and I love you guys. This,
Oh,
like,
you
it,
guys
honestly,
are
like,
awesome.
just having you guys to, like, talk to and throw ideas off and, like, all that kind of shit,
Every
man. Like,
Monday
it makes-
night, BB.
Yeah, fuck.
I'm not
let's get it
sitting in a
going.
little cave. On that, guys, it's 11 o'clock, 11:15. I got to work in the morning, and
Okay.
I'm gonna log off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
should probably split too.
Yeah.
I think that this was reasonably successful after all the technical bullshit.
Yeah,
for the
man.
First hour. I think,
It was a good
you
time.
know, like, yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Oh,
And,
man.
yeah, I'll see
Just
you guys.
hanging out with
Oh.
mates, like,
Such reactions.
I made this, and this is shit. But I've had a really good night, so that's
Yeah.
fine.
I got shit done. Like, I made some scales on this thing. I bolted out, and I started customizing
No
something I've
space
been wanting to.
Scanner, No. Wait, I don't know where you
I
are
got
related
shit
to me,
done.
AJ, but stop it.
AJ, show us all the pulls you did tonight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I'll probably do some clear ones of these boys during the week, and then I'll probably paint them next week, I'm guessing. But yeah, I don't know if I'll airbrush these, so because I don't have a good place to airbrush at the moment.
Yeah, right.
I usually just do it outside, but I can't do that at night.
I'd do it in
or
my bedroom, but the children would die.
Well, look, you know. Yeah. That's all then. I'll do some clear ones during the week and then paint them up. Probably just
Alright.
brush, I'm guessing.
Yeah, post some pics.
Yeah, we should get
Yeah.
we should start using that this Not a Toy Scene Instagram a bit more.
Who's
I'm
got
gonna put
access
some,
to it? Who do we send the pictures
I
to?
think-
Oh, send them to Julian.
Yeah, Julian. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jules would do
Let's
it.
get
I think
Julian
next
on
time I'm
next
gonna
week
put
as well.
our-
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I need to.
dude. Oh yeah, I
I
didn't
need
even
to.
get to
Yeah,
pick
we
these
should get
off
Jules
either.
in. He's good fun. I need to put all the Instagram things.
Oh,
on
hang
our
on, hang on,
videos
hang
and
on.
stuff as well.
Can you
Alright,
share
guys.
those again, Liam, real quick? I feel like I'm a director. I'm like
Chip,
Steve
Chip is
Spielberg.
not here to tell me that whether or not I'm allowed to show you.
Bad Batch. Like
It's a
Bad
secret-
Batch, like the movie,
Secret
or
confidential exposure zone.
Cobra bad starts.
Nice.
We're making some bootlegs that we're hoping to sell
Oh
soon.
yeah,
Nice.
action figures. Oh, hang on.
Well, honestly, if people get to the end of this and
hang
they
on.
see
Yeah,
that,
Got a couple
they
chat-
should
a
be
couple-
fucking rewarded.
A couple of chat messages. I want to kind of read
Quick chat messages. Okay.
So from Mr. Nick Art, this was incredible. I loved it. Heaps. I'm so bad at reading. Dyslexia is really kicking in. Heaps invigorating to listen to, guys. Thank you.
Good.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
man.
Thank you for like sticking around to this point. And Ian has said this was great to come home and to watch. Lots of brilliant discussion and awesome looking toys. Cheers all around. I was hoping if you guys would ever consider making a Discord. Look, I think that's probably a good idea.
We have
making
talked about it.
in Discord.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I think that's
This is
probably
not a
the way to
Toy Scene
go.
Discord.
Me and Fletch, we're the ones streaming it, and I think that's probably a really good idea because we can, get it happening.
Yeah.
Get people like just showing their toys and everything because
Yeah.
it's all just about.
Look, guys, the other thing is like on a Discord, like we can create gallery rooms where
Yeah.
artists can have where even if it's just temporarily, we can have some online exhibitions
Yep.
more
We should
regularly.
definitely have a
Like I
Discord.
reckon like fuck the IRLs like thing. Let's start a Discord and have an online exhibition in 2 months' time. Like
Okay.
let's
Yes.
Well, we're
or
Australia.
even
We're
1 month's
Australia,
time.
right?
I don't
So-
fucking care.
I
I'll
think
do-
just a
I need
whole
3
feed
weeks.
for like show us your toys. Like that's a whole thing. Like
Yeah.
fuck yeah. Like the more people involved and making shit and like obviously like international and interstate is one thing and like if you're in Australia,
Yeah, man.
fuck yeah, get in. Like this is not
Well,
a
we
toy
can-
scene is super like every time we've put on a show it's just gotten more people involved and like just grown in such a nice way like and
Yeah.
Maybe I've got an idea as well. Maybe every session we can invite one of our international friends in to be a guest
totally.
Yeah, anytime.
and bring them in. We have plenty of those.
Yep.
We can invite them in and say, hey, you want to come and join our chat if it's not like 4 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning
yeah.
for you.
Yes,
Like
this is
Luke
gonna-
as
On a
well. I
Sunday
think Luke would
morning,
have a fun time
know.
in there.
We're just
AJ.
gonna ask us
But there's
about Mel
plenty.
Gibson.
I got plenty of friends through Asia. We can ask them.
Love
it.
Same time zones.
Yeah,
Like,
and if
I
we
think
the other
that's a
thing
really
is if
cool
we want to
idea.
do something that invites like some like people from the northern hemisphere, then we can do a Sunday morning
Absolutely.
one or something like that every now and again.
Totally.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't
like,
work
I
Sundays,
love this.
so
I
that
think
works
this
for
is
me.
I think this is a really great start, and I think it's been a really fun night. So thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Have a great night.
See you
As
next
far
week.
as far as
Yeah.
Twitch things go, I'm gonna raid someone as well because that's a thing you can.
Are
do
we
on
dumping
Twitch.
now? Are we all going?
Are we?
We're going.
But
Are
I'm
you turning the
working, I'm
stream
getting
off
good
and
work
then we
done.
go, or what?
Stream going.
Well,
Bye.
I'm gonna raid Demi.
5, 4.
You finish when you need to finish, but I'm raiding
I'll
Demi.
just stop now.
Oh, we got to
You
follow.
guys keep going if you want, but I'm
Mr.
out.
Nick.
Woo,
Mr. Nick.
follow.